as the word I'm looking for, as
Ceremony.
the festivities were going on, there was an attack on the area, and somebody swooped down and stole something from the king's casket. And then there was a bit of chaos where the public was trying to break into the castle for some reason that I don't remember.
They're trying to run away from the giant illusory
They're
monster.
running away, but then they were also trying to get in.
Oh, they were running away, and then they were mad at the casters for not protecting them. So that like people started rioting in the streets and tried to break into the compound.
Yeah.
So we took cover in the tithing chambers, and that's when Cerberus arranged a meeting between us and some people who we knew as Dez and Soli and Luna. They basically said that they were from different worlds and they were trying to get back to their worlds, and the only way that they could think of how to do it had to do with these stones, and it was the same stone that was in the king's scepter, allegedly. But there was another stone, which actually wasn't a stone, it was a fragment of a stone, we came to find out, that was in the casket, and that's what they had stolen from the casket. And for some reason, they decided that they were going to give us the stone, and we were going to take care of all their problems. Because D&D...
Because that's what the DM wanted.
No, they were called. God, I remember the Chasers. There's the Chasers, who basically are this group of people who were trying to find these people and kill them.
Yes.
And I don't remember, call them like the Outsiders, or was there a nickname?
Others.
The Others.
Others.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I was wondering if it was a complete ripoff of Lost or not.
I was gonna say it was
Right?
the Lost.
100%. Yeah.
Um,
At least I think we called them. I can't remember. It was off the cuff, and it was only like one session we said it, and it was kind of like semi-canon. I don't know if there's ever a. We can just say there's not a universal term for it.
it's
It was
the
like
Others.
In The Walking Dead,
was-
where every like little settlement has different names for the zombies.
Yeah.
We call them biters over here.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like
so-
chasers or tracers or something like that?
The chasers are the ones that are hunting them.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Kill.
Never mind.
the Chasees?
They be chased.
God. So then the writing was getting to a point where we had to leave the facility. Also worth mentioning, since Cerberus was the one making this acquaintance, there's this political triangle happening with Brackle, where Brackle's daddy is basically the acting king. His name I can't think of because I'm awful with
Daunt.
names. General Daunt. He's the acting king, basically. It should have been Cerberus, but Cerberus wasn't there at the right place at the right time, and Daunt was there at the right place at the right time, and has been the acting general since. Like this animosity between Daunt and Cerberus, and Brackle, being loyal to Daunt, kind of has this distaste and distrust for Cerberus in turn. So when Cerberus came knocking on the door, Brackle had disguised himself as Arvantis to avoid any political mishappenings. So the riot starts getting out of control. We decide that we have to get Zethlo, because he's somewhere in the facility, to make sure he's safe.
And remind me who that is.
Zethlo is he's an artificer that works with Teth.
Okay.
He really made a very small appearance at the beginning of the chapter. His stuff will come into play more in this chapter. So if you don't know him, that's not a huge deal.
The old
And-
old crotchety gnome.
Yeah, you
And
just
who is Jeff?
imagine gnome inventor, basically.
So yeah, think if Jeff Goldblum was an older gnome.
Oh,
That's
Chef Goldblum.
Zikla.
Got it.
Wow, I worked with some tools. Yeah.
I thought there was some. Oh, so we also had this discussion where we didn't. We know the stones are supposed to help us, like, send these people back, but we also don't know anything about the stones. And the only people we can think to ask about the stones are. Oh God, how many of the generals does Barlos have listed in the journal here?
Was it Pan?
I have everything
Pan-
listed in the journal. Pasparan.
Pasparan, who was the general of the. I know she had to deal with infrastructure.
Trade, infrastructure, and commerce. So like travel and things like that.
Pasparan is a neutral character.
That's where I'm looking.
I mean, they seemed pretty on the. I can't remember if it was a she or not.
We're
But...
talking about in the terms of this in the journal.
Oh,
An active character, maybe?
Oh,
She
listed under
is-
inactive under generals casters. Got it.
she seemed pretty good as a character, but I don't know.
She's also a Luxodon.
I love Barlos, by the way, that you messaged me and said, hey, you should change your name because there's already a character named that. So then I changed it to this, and then I looked at neutral characters when I signed in today, and there's a person that's like a letter different.
Really?
Zelkai, protector of the heart.
Oh,
And I
you're
am
right.
Zelkai.
That's true.
Zelkai existed for maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah, Zelkai is a sphinx who is affixed to the ground. So you won't be running into him anytime soon.
Unless
Elias,
we go back
maybe.
to where he's affixed.
It crumbled on top of the opening. So you good, I guess, if you dug enough. You're more than welcome to use your time to do that.
So one of our leads was Pasparan, who we know is there because a lot of the generals were in the facility. The other was this mysterious. She wasn't a general; she was a tithe winner called the Wisp, who had basically fucked off after winning the tithes. Said, "I'm not going to associate with the casters. Fuck the casters." But there was some reason why we thought that those two were the people to ask about the orbs, and get a general heading. So, knowing that Pasparan was in the area, we're gonna get Zethlo. We're gonna go talk to Pasparan. We got to do that, and Brackle says, "Hey, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna go do some caster shit. I'll meet up with you later." Oh, we also had to get Flynn. Flynn was the other person I kept forgetting about. We have to go get Flynn. And then
At that point, you thought you were getting Flynn and Arvantis.
yeah, Brackle basically tells Flynn to kick rocks, and then after he leaves, he does dominate person on Arvantis. Once fails, second time succeeds, and then proceeds to tell him to go throw himself in the furnace and kill himself. All just to cover up the fact that he had disguised himself as Arvantis in front of Cerberus. That's it. Just to type loose ends. Also, the Andrew's kind of a psychopath, but we already knew that from the Jimothy incident. So Arvantis goes away and is allegedly dead, assumed dead. We leave the facility, and we're on our way to the area where we believe Pasparan should be staying at, and we get assailed by some strangers who we later find out are actually two others. The first one gets killed pretty ruthlessly at some point. I don't remember how, but one of them dies.
Wasn't he thrown off a building?
It's possible.
You beat on him a
I'm
little
pretty
bit and
sure-
you threw him off the building.
Pretty sure I
Shit.
threw him off a building and then you stabbed him to death.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Because he spit on me.
You're right. So the other decided that they were going to. God, we had to chase them for some reason, other than the fact that they had spit on us. I feel like they had they'd like grabbed something.
They have a staff or something. He had something.
Did they
They
take?
definitely
Yeah,
wanted.
they may have taken the.
Yeah, that sounds right. They would have taken the scepter. We had like the broken scepter from the king.
Yes. Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it was either that or the gem. It
I
was
think they took
something.
it from Burn. They did something with the fountain with Burn or something, right?
Or Vern. Immediate
Or Vern.
blame.
Well, no, I think it was something like they cast a spell, and then while Burn was like stuck or something, like they took the scepter and then tried to fuck off or something. I don't remember.
Anyway, this chase scene was bound to happen. Teth used a prayer bead of, is it Windwalk?
Yeah.
We all turned into puffs of smoke that could travel at 500 feet per round or some shit like that.
Hey, I took
Uh,
prayer beads too.
An interjection. Fuck you, Michael Fisco, for also picking the necklace of prayer beads.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
He also wanted the sensor until I told him that Teth also had the sensor. And I was like,
Hey, I said-
two of these
said-
characters in the
to
same
be
game.
fair, I don't use a sensor that often. The beads I use all the time.
I said I was doing everything in my power to not take the sensor because it's clearly far and away the best choice you could have for a cleric.
Dude, it's a good weapon without the healing once a day thing.
I just don't think I'll ever be in a fight where I actually have to attack something, so I ultimately didn't
Yeah.
care what my weapon was. So
Anyway, continue.
So
You're doing a great job.
Thanks. So we chased them to a tabernacle, where this other who we had lovingly named Wraith because of her likeness to the Apex Legends character Wraith,
nice.
had been up at this altar area and summoned an undead dragon to fight us, who is also lovingly named as Ali. Fight ensued. Vern had a horn of command or something like that, and pretty much ended the fight somehow. Immediately ended the fight. I don't remember what happened with Wraith, if we she had surrendered or
She did surrender. That was the fight where you rode Ollie into the air.
right. So the fight ended, and then the dragon was gonna just go away, and Urzak decided that as such an evil abomination should not be allowed to live, and rode the dragon into the air and under the dirt, to which point he had slain the dragon enough to capture the soul of Ali into the sword. And then at the tabernacle, a conversation happened with Wraith where they revealed their identity as an other and told us. I don't know if she talked about the orbs of Presidium or not.
She did not. But Pazparan did. She surmised that since you now had a second piece of it, and then you found the third piece of it on the altar, that it must be an orb of Presidium. She wasn't sure when they were just shards. She wasn't 100% certain.
Yeah, Pazparan showed up at some point. I don't remember that, but they're there. And then there was a dungeon vault trial of sorts underneath the tabernacle that we had to undergo to retrieve the rest of the the rest of that orb, since it was in shards. There was, I have to remember the trials. There was the one where we had to, quote unquote, fight ourselves. And then there was another one where we had to reveal our vulnerabilities and have therapy talk in the elevator. I don't remember if there's a third one or not. But
it was like for 3 weeks before that session, I was panic texting Michael Fitzko asking if he thought that type of session would work if I locked you in a room and forced you to roleplay.
this is when Aaron was still playing with us, so it was.
That's true. That's true.
It was not okay. This is shortly before Aaron stopped playing with us, so maybe it wasn't okay.
Except I kind of remember he just went upstairs and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play guard."
Yeah, yeah. I think he actually didn't play that session. I think he was upstairs, not doing that.
Is that how we got Des to come with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh yeah, there was a whole scene between. So while this is going on, there's a prologue arc that's happening about Dez, and the illusion of the arc is that Dez is working with Robert, and works for Robert. So we're supposed to be suspicious of him the entire time and wary and untrustworthy of him. When it turns out that the prologue was taking place like hundreds of years in the past, and we learned that others apparently don't age in this world. And we already know Robert doesn't age, but at some point Des had cut ties with Robert, and there was a moment between Des and Urzak. Urzak was not buying his bullshit. And there was a beautiful monologue from Michael Barlos.
The insight check heard around the world.
Yeah.
So that happened there too. We got the stone, brought it back up to the altar. All the pieces formed together, and it formed the stone of Talos. In which point Talos appeared before Teth, and Teth was allowed a question, and I'm sure I'll be corrected. The question was something along the lines of, "Are we on the right path?" I believe.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
Yeah, that was in a prologue. It was the one prologue that I incorporated you guys in. So I have the exact transcript of that somewhere. Please continue. I'll look for it while you talk.
It's something along the lines of like Teth asking if either he is or we are on the right path. And it sounded like Talos affirmed that belief that we were headed the right way. After that point, we had that's when the conversation with Pasburn happened. Where we're like, yeah, that's a pretty powerful artifact. There's like 6 of them. They all represent these different gods who created the continent. And through a one shot, we discovered that basically there is a device and a place that we can use these stones to teleport people back to their worlds. And we, above game, learned that later down the road, but in game, like, okay, well, if we gather these stones, we can send these people back and everybody will be happy and joyful. After we left the tabernacle, Cerberus shows up and he says, basically, hey, my boss is here. I don't give a shit, but I just had to come out here because it's my job. And we're like, okay, well, this is what happened. We're going to send this person, we're gonna send Wraith with you and Flynn, and maybe somebody else who was absent from the session that last week, and you can take them and go talk to the king and assure that everything's fine. And is this the point? Did Pazbran take us to the bunker? I'm trying to remember if she was part of that entourage or not.
She was, I think.
Yeah.
Believe
Yeah, she was the one that
led us to the
was
bunker.
there.
Because when you went in, you were surprised that Marawil was the one that was there.
Right.
Oh, hi, baby.
It's a baby.
You want to get your vacuum out? Okay. You want to come say hi to everybody? No? Okay.
No, I have vacuum.
You want to wave? Wave hi to the guys.
Can you wave?
Wave hi.
Wait.
What's up, dudes?
Oh, hit yourself in the face, dude.
They just.
It is upside down. You're right. Okay. DJ. No, we're not doing DJ. Come on. Say bye, pops.
So
Keep going.
So Pazbran had said, okay, so for the night, she led us to this secret outside the cityscape bunker of operations, which we learned was kind of this a center for operations for the casters that were getting people out of the tithes alive. So from the first chapter, like Gael and those people that he worked with to get people out of there safely instead of everybody dying. It was their center of operations. Basically a room with some tables and a bunch of teleporters across the continent. And Marl was there, who we learned she is one of the integral players in that group of people as well.
Marwal's best grandma.
Yeah, Irish lady grandma. After that night, I think. Oh god, we met. Oh god, what the fuck is his name? It's something spot on for what he actually is. Oh, who's that general? Alan. We met Alan.
The skull guy? Big skull?
Yeah. Alan with the skull. Who's in love with Lily Hargrave.
Yep. Why can't I think of the fucking Harry Potter? Why can't I think of his fucking name? Snape.
Severus Snape. Yeah.
He's just Snape. We met Snape. We rested there for the night. We woke up, and then Gael was there. And there was a conversation between Gael and Teth. Which I don't think much was ever revealed about the reason behind that encounter. But for some reason, Teth wants to kill Gael, and Gael wants to kill Teth. But it was smoothed over to enough that Gael at least stormed off. Also worth noting, which I don't think has been noted, at some point we find out that Teth is basically a big automaton murder robot that was created to kill casters back during the war. So a lot of older people in the know of Teth and his kind and fear them or have animosity towards him in such a way. So assuming that has to play in with Gael's that confrontation quite a bit.
Yes.
After that happened, something happened. I think we sent a message to Wraith, or Wraith sent a message out to us basically found out that Cerberus killed Wraith, and then there was a conversation between Cerberus and, well, I think, God, I don't remember the order. There were two important conversations that Brackle had.
Oh yeah, Brackle's conversations. He had one with Daunt and one with Cerberus.
Right, and I don't remember which one of those. I think the Cerberus one came first.
Yes, he met with Cerberus and essentially agreed to be eyes and ears for Cerberus and help like track down a list of names that Cerberus gave to him. Many of which were the characters that were played in that one shot that were sent back. So they were others that were returned to their home. Then his conversation with Daunt, he was trying to convince Daunt to stay with the casters because Daunt was trying to leave. And Daunt wouldn't listen to him and dropped all of his stuff. Basically just gave Brackle all of his caster gear and fucked off.
And the conversation with Cerberus was kind of like, look, you're going to be out there. You can either find these people and send them back, or find them and kill them. I don't care which. Just take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think after that conversation, we basically found out that he had killed Wraith. So his intentions were pretty obvious that he was not so keen on taking the option of sending them back. He was just going to kill everybody.
That spurred the first transport panel, because that was when he almost killed Dez and Flynn as well, and they came back to you guys at the bunker and told you about it.
Carlos was tired of us being in the city, which leads us into the next part, which is all the shit we did in the city.
So much stuff.
There was
Grim.
So there was Graham. Yeah, so there was Grim. I'm sorry, Graham Solomon.
Okay, that checks out.
I think Urzak and Eric were walking the street back to the bunker at some point. And they were accosted by this guy who wanted to play a game. Urzak, being Urzak, was like, "I'm not going to play your game. This seems like unlawful bullshit." And took pity. Basically, was like thinking this guy was a beggar, and gave him a silver piece and was like, "Have a silver piece. Have a good day. Goodbye." And Eric was like, "No, fuck this guy. I want my friend's silver piece back." And then Urzak basically walked away so that whatever was going to transpire could happen. He could turn a blind eye to. Eric proceeded to. He discovered that he also was missing a potion of some sort. Beat this man with an inch of his life with the butt of his crossbow. Didn't find the potion. Left empty-handed. And thus began the story arc of Graham Solomon being under Adversaries tab in the journal.
Hell yeah.
100% true.
Vern had an arc where he was trying to make connections with people in the city to make his dream of establishing basically railways within the continent happen. So he went and schmoozed with some guy in the upper echelon, also as a way to acquire some costly gems, because this is the only place we could find gemstones, and only rich, pompous people were allowed. And Vern tipped his hat and said, "Don't mind if I do." Also convinced this jeweler to run for some form of government body in the same time. Great scene. Teth was also there as the bodyguard, just watches over things, from what I remember.
Yep.
I think
just
automaton servant. Yeah.
Automaton servant. We needed the diamond confetti for the birthday party.
the lavender crushed diamonds.
we had some shopping where we met a guy. We sold some weird magic items that we bought. There was also like a general store with a lady who seemed to be old and delirious. Whose name I should remember because she's also a direct knockoff of somebody.
Her name is Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
But Urzok unknowingly basically robbed this lady.
I forgot about that.
Didn't really rob her, just got some stuff really cheap because she was under the effects of black mold, which Eric discovered later and vowed to repair, completely rebuild and restore her building within 3 days. Yet to see if that's going to happen or not. I think you think he adjusted it at some point. It was like, 2 weeks. I'll build you a new place within 2 weeks. But Eric discovered the black mold, healed her. Excuse me. Let her know what was going on. And there was 2 more encounters I can think of. There was the breakfast encounter. There was an eating competition that ensued. And needless to say, things got very, very messy. We made a guy quit his job on the spot because he was miserable and we were making a ruckus and a mess. And we convinced him to come back. And I think we got him like a fucking raise or something like that as well.
I think so.
And talked our way out of a 500 gold food tab because the owner was pretty pissed off too. We broke a table.
It was like 530 gold or something that he charged you guys.
Yeah, that's where we got the orc child drunk at breakfast. Allegedly, we had commissioned to get a table replaced for that. I don't remember whatever happened with that, but
it's still in production.
That was the lunch encounter, the breakfast encounter. There was another curious encounter that happened after that, where we were somewhere and realized that we were being followed by people who were under illusory spells. We followed them to a place.
It was after we went to Zethlos, and he wasn't there.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to we were going to Zethlos. That's when we found out we were being followed. We got there. He had left us a note saying something about Cassius. He also left us a schematic. Michael Ballas has yet to draw to this day. It was some drawing. It was like, I don't know what this is supposed to be, and you're like, I'll draw it. It'll happen.
He left you the corner piece of it. I haven't drawn it yet, admittedly, but you're not supposed to have the full thing yet.
A partial drawing. And then
the day of when it's supposed to be. Supposed to show up.
There was something else I feel like he left behind.
There was power cells.
Yeah, listen.
Power cells, and then just random clues that Teth would pick up on to try and help find where he is. And then you encounter the 3 guys in the tavern.
Yes, 3 guys whose names...
It was Ned and 2 other people. I can't remember what the other 2 were. It's Ned, Bartholomew, maybe? Bart?
Yeah. That's Bartholomew sounds right.
And Terry. Ned, Bart, and Terry. The 3 ships.
Basically, they kept following us, and we went back to the restaurant that we ate at, whose name I also can't think of.
Selma's,
that's right. The trivia question should on that. And we went back to Selma's and told the guys, like, hey, you're gonna shut the place down for a couple minutes. It'll be okay. We're gonna pay for it. And we're waiting for the guys to come in and confront us, and Urzok was like, this is fucking stupid. I'm just gonna go confront them. And went out in the street and was like, hey, if you got something to say, you fucking say it to my face. They were like, what? Like, just come inside and have a chat. And I think there was several really good intimidation checks on the party's part.
Yeah.
And
3 sets of peed trousers later.
there
The
were some
encounter was over.
I don't remember if everybody was there or not, but I remember specifically there was like Urzok,
I think it was Urzok, Crowbar,
Aaron's
and
character, yeah, and Tap. And it was like you're following the three
biggest, scariest character.
So we got some information out of them. They were basically told to spy on us from this group of people who we had kind of thought were the I forget what the desert was called in this place. The wilds. They were going to meet somewhere in the wilds or in the wilds. But we learned later on, much later on, that their boss was God, you have so many fucking names in your campaign, Barlos. They're all references.
Yeah, you're talking about Ken.
Ken Shapiro.
Ken Shapiro, the Piro Barracks, who was their boss at some point, and he was the one who had told them to follow us to whatever ends. So those were the city encounters. I think that was everything.
The only thing I can think of that was missed was Vern had a conversation with the city planner named Morag and gave him a special token to get into other official businesses around the continent. Just kind of like his cosign if he wanted to set up bases of operation in other cities. So Vern got a step closer to the railway as well.
I can never remember it exactly, but wasn't there something about this guy was like a swinger and he used to frequent like the Drowned Rat or something like that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and his partner Anthony frequented the shittiest saloon in Charvassus, of which Vern was apparently very familiar.
He liked the street food or something. I don't remember. He's like, they had the best po' boys. I don't know.
Yep. So after like probably 2 months of fucking around the city, Barlos is like, okay, I'm pushing you out of the city.
Get out of there.
So that's when Wraith died, and Des and Flynn came back, and we're like, all right, it's time to go. And we made a decision to go to Mir, because Mir is a city that is unfounded by casters, and there's a great separation of casters, and that city, it was also near a location of one of the orbs, which we're able to see the locations of the orbs from the orb that Teth has, from a map that it displays. So we were like, we're gonna go to Mir. Get to Mir, or the teleporter takes us in the middle of the forest, basically. We're kind of in a swamp. The first thing that happens is we meet the Wisp. She's just chilling unconscious, face down in some water, some shit like that. I don't remember.
Classic.
The classic Wisp. She tells us that the cloudburst effects seem to be getting out of control. It's causing things to stir from the wilds, and basically attacks are happening across the continent. Things are getting more dangerous because the cloudbursts seem to get out of control. Then on cue, a big fight happens with this giant stone elemental. I think it's the fight where Eric turned into an octopus, and Vern, and Vern gave Urzok war crimes.
Yeah.
Through a fingertip.
Yeah.
Finger crimes.
and his face was scorched black, which we all completely forgot about for the next session.
Mhm.
Yep.
Um,
The very next thing that happened after your face was burned was Silgath was like, "I recognize you.
yeah.
I know you from somewhere."
Yep. So Silgath shows up. Silgath's a Dampier who, which I should say, Dampiers we had learned through some of Urzak's prologue story and research that Dampier is the race that little girl whose name I don't remember. My brain
Shaw.
is turning to mush.
Seraphina Shaw.
Shaw, yep. So Shaw's a Dampier. They're like this race of blue undead people. And Silgath was a Dampier. We learned to find out that Shaw is his daughter. And he says, "Come with me, I have to show you something." He takes us to a graveyard in some kind of pocket realm. And the graveyard's filled with graves that basically represent the lives of currently living Dampier. And their thoughts and our memories are projected on the backs of these graves. And one of them is Shaw's. So rest assured, Shaw is alive in some capacity. We learned that that's how Silgath became to know of the party through Shaw's paintings and drawings. This is also when two big scenes with Urzak happen. If I know his sister dies, he has a conversation with his sister. She's dying, and she's offered a second life. And for some reason, Urzak was given the choice to give her the second life or not, and he was like, "That's not my choice to make." In which case, she declined the second life and chose to pass on. And then a meeting with Ash had also happened as well. Where Ash basically came and told us about the facility that's able to transport people out if we collect all the orbs. And then outside of the graveyard, the rest of the party is in a fight. I felt like there was another fight in there that I missed. But the fight that I came back to was there was some traps that had happened with seeds, and Eric decided to bloom one of the seeds and piss off the plants. And we fought a bunch of plant monsters.
Yeah, he plant growthed a little tiny seed monster, and it turned into a huge, like a gargantuan sized plant that attacked all of you.
Oh, I remember what I missed.
That
Venom
was the seed
Fangs.
that planted in it in
Venom-
Vern.
Right. The thing that I missed was Venom Fang's older sister is allegedly abouts in these woods of Mir. There has been reported. There was something with that.
He knows that.
Vern had. When did Vern build the? No, it was later. So defeat the plant monsters. We basically are at Mir because that was the city defenses. Learn that the whole city is a bunch of Dampier, and they don't like outsiders because they're racist. But Silgath vouches for us, so we're okay. But everybody's got their eyes on us, and we meet that night. We met. We were not meant to meet with Beth, but oozes. What are the oozes?
There was an ooze battle that Urzak also missed.
Okay,
It was
that's
that
the one I was
period
thinking
you
of.
missed like 2 weeks in a row. Yeah,
Yeah.
the oozes and the giant plants. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Vern did meet Zapdos, which is a tiny
flying struck bird.
metal bird.
Yeah.
Vern's amassing a pet army. And Zapdos is the the randomly generated one, thanks to Michael Barlos, made an appearance. So we get to the city that night. It's nighttime. I think you were kind of meant to just fuck off and go to bed, but Vern was very concerned about the seed that was inside of him. And I didn't think it was that late. It was like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And they go knocking on this woman's.
And Beth's bedtime is 7 p.m.
Right.
Vampire, she doesn't. She just like recedes into her house at 7 p.m.
So they go knocking on this old lady's door, who she's supposed to be the one to help them with the seed. I have vague details about that. I don't know how much better you remember that, Trent, or not.
Vern stripped.
There were clothes being taken off, and well, definitely lies being told to some extent.
Right, yeah, she wasn't too keen on helping us that night, if I recall. Or it's so we had to come back like the next day, and that's when we made her pancakes.
Yeah. The lie had something to do with Gael, because I remember it was just like, oh yeah, well Gael said you'd help, like right now. And he clearly said like, hey, listen, don't go bother her tonight.
And we marched right up and got naked and pleaded to be helped, and Beth was not moved.
And then you find out later that Beth practices blood magic. She is a human lie detector, or an undead human lie detector. She can tell if people are lying because she can feel people's pulses. So the whole time she's like, these fuck ups are flying through their teeth to me.
Yep.
Yeah, Beth's she's a bloodbender.
Was it the hot tea that? How was it extracted from me? Was it the piping hot tea that I had to drink to remove the offending?
She manipulated your blood pressure or something.
Yeah, she manipulated your blood and squeezed it back out of you.
Oh God, yeah.
So for that night, we had gone. Go ahead.
They got poisoned. What was that? Oh, it was the berries from the pancakes. Yeah.
So that night we went. Urzak built a tower magically, which Vern shitted all over.
It was just an okay tower.
It was an okay tower. It wasn't. What's the tower spell? Level like 7 or 8. That's fantastic.
Magnificent Mansion.
Yeah, it was no Magnificent Mansion. It was level 2, like.
Yeah, it's Galder's
Tower. I've since replaced. We stayed in the tower. Urzak used an item, which let him use a spell, the Mystic Spyglass, which lets him use divination. Is that the spell?
Is it divination or augury? I can't remember.
It's divination. Divination, yes. He had a conversation with Lendis that he was super unsatisfied with. I feel like something else happened that night too. Don't remember. But the next morning, Vern and Brackle for sure decided they were going to go make some berry pancakes for Beth, and the stern and bitchy front gate guard, Eleanor. They were going to make pancakes, and everybody was going to love them with their berry pancakes. So they sent Zapdos out to go gather berries in the wild, which we later learned that half the berries were great and the other half are poisonous. So they just made poison pancakes for everybody.
Love that. Only half poison.
Only half poison. But we met a few people across the city. We met Beth, who's the old lady, the bloodbender, who has a affinity for boiling hot tea and doilies.
Doilies. I forgot about that.
She assisted with getting the seed out of Vern. There was Warwick, who's the captain of the guard, who's a big, large dragonborn man who is also a Dampier. And then the other one was Belle, who is a scholarly type. She was going to help Teth with a harness to basically affix the orb to him in a way. Amongst other things, I think she was also helping Eric with some of his alchemical ventures and potion making. She was going to help him make something that would kill the black mold, I believe.
Yes.
She was going to
I
help
think she actually just gave it to him.
Yeah, she gave me potion of ungrowth.
From there, we met all the people, and I think that's when Cerberus's broadcast went up.
Yes.
Basically, Cerberus decided to have a very dictatorish broadcast, calling us all criminals, and that we all had to come back to the capital and finish the war games, or be punished by the full extent of the law. And who else was there was a bunch of people on that list of people. Any of our affiliates were also ousted as criminals.
Basically the full party, except for Brackle, Flynn, Dez, Gael,
I think Elias
Luna,
was on
and
there too.
Solia, Elias.
What the fuck did this orc child do?
Guilt by affiliation, I guess.
And then these beacons went up. I don't remember. I know Brackle used True Seeing to see like there were like beacons coming out from the broadcast to see like where they were coming from. But some way or another, our location was being broadcast. At least in the vicinity around us. City started being under attack. So we went and defended the city. There was kind of a party split here. Vern fell unconscious at some point. And I think Teth and Eric were defending the barracks with Warwick. Or maybe you guys were just playing different characters.
I think it was just Eric and Warwick, but Billy played Warwick because Teth was down defending the gate with you guys.
And then we went to the gate. There was automatons that were attacking, and then there was this guy. Who was the guy? The Black Rider.
I'm gonna switch to the roster.
Yeah, why didn't you do this like a fucking year ago?
Here are all the names that you've been trying to figure out for the past 40 minutes.
Yeah, so this guy, the Black Rider, was leading the assault in a way. We had confronted him outside the gate, I believe, and then he teleported to inside the city, where we ran back and fought him there with some larger automatons. At the end of that fight, he basically created a hole in the ground and captured the guard lady, Eleanor. We ended up chasing them to the nearby cancer compound, which we discovered was called the Piro Barracks, led by our fearless commander, Ken Shapiro. And upon getting to the barracks, he had actually called us when we were in the city, I think. At some point, he was like, "Hey, I have your friend. Come get her. I don't want her here. Get her out of here."
Yeah.
And we were like, "Okay, well, I guess we're going to get her." And we show up, and kind of just knock on the door, and we're like, "Hey, Ken sent us. We're here to pick up a friend." And everyone was like, "Yeah, that sounds right. You talked to Ken? That's great. Okay, well, right this way, sir."
The persuasion rolls made me so mad getting through that prison. It took 3 sessions less than it should have taken.
It was the equivalent of Vern and Brackle just like rolling 30 deception checks.
Yeah.
The whole time.
It was pretty cool, though.
I also figured out Urzak doesn't like spiders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did fight some spiders. We get to the barracks, meet Ken, realize that he's a big idiot who just spews a lot of hot air and doesn't actually know what the fuck he's talking about. And he had a big foam sword that wasn't real. Also realized that he was another. So there was a very oh god, what am I thinking of? It is almost like a Game of Thrones-esque like conversation where like we're trying to like delicately not like start a confrontation, but he's trying to place blame on us, and we're trying to like not accept the blame and kind of skirt around the whole issue. This probably went on for a good hour or two, and at the end of the session, Teth decides that they're fucking done with it and just smite punch the fuck out of Ken Shapiro and kill him instantly. There was a bit of combat at that point. The guards were kind of intimidated back down from fighting, but the Black Rider showed back up and we finished him off. And at some point the Rollers realized that this is where they were storing the other orb that we're looking for in the area. So we go and we free Eleanor. Go on a journey to get all of her stuff back and her crow. And then we run into one of Teth's old friends, whose name is on this list. Thank God, it's Gale.
Gale.
Run into Gale, who's another Warforged unit who is presumed to be one of the Killcasters as well. There was some kind of control over Gale, which we dispelled. And dispelled at a moment where I think Vern and I want to say Brackle were, maybe it was just Vern. They're basically like trying to put him back together, using parts of things that weren't him, and then he was dispelled
from that big digging machine.
Yeah,
and Gale was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, and then he was dispelled from the enchantment spell. Came back to life, put himself back together. There was a conversation there that I don't remember.
And there was a lot of conversation, but it was like very much, and of course, Barlis isn't here. It was very coded to like things that you guys probably would not know what we're talking about, sort of thing. Before she put herself back together.
Yeah, there was some conversation where Teth was like, "I'll tell you guys about this later." I don't know if that later ever came or not.
No,
I feel like it did.
There was a couple conversations where I was like, "Hey, we should talk," and it's like, "Yeah, but we're doing a mission, so let's do the mission." And then that mission turned into like 3 missions, and then we got jumped.
Yep.
And then we ended chapter 2. So,
God, yeah. From there, we went down into the vault, met the 2 Sphinxes, solved the riddle.
We met the the worst
fucking
NPC.
robot.
Yeah, fucking
Norman, who's basically dumber Claptrap.
Yeah.
It's dumb and literal Claptrap.
It was the aspect of Norman. It wasn't actual Norman.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Regular.
And we went down the vault. God, I think I feel like there was something else in the elevator that happened. Oh, there was a puzzle where we had to balance out weight. And then we went down the elevator, and there was a beach, which the first time we went across was no problem at all. Just went across this beach. And this is where we finally encountered Coraline, which the prologue this entire time had been about Vern. We learned that Vern's parents were part of a group called the Knife, which is basically the precursor to the group of casters that are helping the Tithes escape. So like Gael and Marwell are part of the Knife. Vern's parents were also part of the Knife. We learned, and Vern had basically had a few encounters with Coraline, where Coraline was basically telling Vern to kill all of us and take the orb and serve him. And Vern was like, "No, that's crazy. Why would I do that? They're my friends. Also, you're kind of an asshole." So finally, we go down the vault. We have an encounter with Coraline, or an aspect of Coraline, or something to that measure. Defeat Coraline, get the orb. There's a bit, so when we're in the chamber, it does this thing where it projects our memories onto the wall. There was an encounter with Flynn there, where Flynn's kind of seeing memories of his past life. We learned that he's a black man. That was all I took from that entire thing.
Yeah.
No, he was like torn about like actually confronting the memories, and I think he was kind of like, I am who I am now. I don't really, am I curious? Yeah, but I'm just going to be my own person. I'm not too worried about it. We left the facility. Vern has the orb. There was a thing with the orbs. When we picked up the orbs, they were like drawn to each other and they were going to explode. But Urzak had sprouted wings and grabbed Vern and took him and the orb up into the air to distance them. And the orbs, their attraction dispelled at the moment. We go to leave, realize that the underground of this place is crumbling, and as we're leaving, there's a bunch of elementals across the ground, and it's difficult walking. Navigate that, get in the elevator, get out, get up, go home. That's and then at the end of that, we leave the facility, and who else but our friend Robert is there to greet us. Immediately he kills definitely Silgath. I think he kills Eleanor at that point too. And I think there was a weird encounter there, where it wasn't a combat encounter, but it was like Urzak's trying to fight Visick, but it's just not happening type deal. You're muted, Barlos. You're talking.
I think it was Teth and Vern that were like, "Don't stop. Let's go away from here."
Yeah, well,
definitely Teth.
Yeah, there was a point. I think Vern was very much trying to like de-escalate or like bring it down the other way. And then correct me if I'm wrong, Trent, but it was very much like, hey, like we ain't trying to fight. Like, here, take this orb. Would this make you go away? And it's like, no, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to give the orb, and I don't know. Did I try to like wink at one of you or something and think we could, as a diversionary method, like get really easily once we handed it off to the big bad?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think a lot of the context was like, Vern doesn't really know what Visic's capable of, right?
No, but he had like all the bodies floating there, so he was.
Yeah,
Vern was
yeah.
pretty quick to not have that befall all of his friends. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was like
it was like
Warp-
a protection.
So Visic, we sure Visic was like levitating a bunch of bodies in the air and
Yeah,
was
there
just
was, like,
killing people. So we killed Silgath, we killed Eleanor. I think Beth was up there.
Yep.
we all voted to
Warwick was up there.
Philip
was up there
Philip, yeah.
for some fucking reason.
Carlos, you gotta cross these people out on your sheet here.
Oh, they're still alive.
I don't have enough crosses.
I feel like there was one other person there.
It's like the.
It was like Bell was there, maybe.
Bell was also
was
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we killed the people and then started making people disappear, which wasn't comforting in that context. But yeah, I think Vern was trying to give him the orb. Urzak was trying to punch Visic in the face and also create an opening for everyone else to leave. And I don't remember the rest of the encounter.
So actually, yeah, Urzak like gets grappled by Visic and punches Visic in the face while he's talking. Remember that?
Oh, I remember that encounter very clearly.
You also got a good stab in before you were grappled.
I think,
Yeah, you
did
did.
Teth wind walked you all away?
Yep, there was a very key perception or
That's
insight check.
Yeah, that's the only reason why you left Eleanor and Silgath's bodies there. Otherwise, you would have taken them.
Yeah, Eric tried to cut off Eleanor's strong hand with
dude, that was
one of her axes.
That's right.
I rolled like 4 1s out of like 5 rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one was like a 4 or 5 or something.
It was such a good idea, and it just didn't like. It was such a good idea at the time, and you rolled like dog shit.
Yeah. Weren't you gonna like regrow Eleanor from her arm? Was that the goal?
Yeah,
Well, there's a artifact from the god Coralon that he left. It has this thing.
Oh yeah.
Pour like tons of salts and holy water, and as long as you have the hand of a deceased, I would assume undead works. It doesn't exclude undead.
It
was essentially a reincarnation? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I also wild shaped into a tiger, multi-attacked at the hand, just at the hand to try to.
I forgot
that didn't work either. That was also part of the bad rolling. But no, yeah. Thankfully, Teth had his bonus action beads because normally Windwalk you had casting action is a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love my beads, man.
So we fled away to Mir again. For some reason, Robert did not pursue us. We could only imagine that he's playing with us like little marionettes in his web of dastardly deeds.
I have a guess why, but I'm sure we all know. He's just waiting for us all to find the orbs for him, do all his work for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then we get back and Mir right with the tree and the grieving ceremony happening.
Yeah, there's a ceremony. I think somebody's casting plant growth to make the tree flourish, I believe.
That's our Warforged.
Teth, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's grieving for mostly Silgath. Elnor too, I guess, but Silgath was their leader. So that was a big deal. So everybody's grieving. And Marwil pulls Urzak aside and is like, "Hey, I need you to come with me." And then she basically says, "I have this scroll that can bring Elnor back, but you got to kill me." And Urzak says, "No, I'm not going to do that. You're fucking stupid." And she says, "But I want to be with Silgath, so please do it." He says, "Okay, fine," and kills Marwil, and Elnor comes back. And I think that was just about it.
Well, that episode also featured heavily on Andrew's character, but I don't
Oh
step
yeah.
on toes because that may look like that's part of the intro to this chapter.
There was
Yes,
the entire chapter. Arvantus's death was kind of pushed aside, and then at kind of towards the end there, I think Flynn had confronted Brackle, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, Flynn did confront Brackle about it, and kind of revealed that he felt a lot of the same guilt that Brackle did because he used to be directly under Visick, working for him until he fled and was subsequently killed by Visick in a prologue.
I guess we could also mention that Arvantus is one of 7 sons from a royalty line in a city that Carlos hasn't created yet. And
I have created it. You just haven't gone there.
Nice. Who was
it's on the map
candidate as a patron to a guide that we're about to see in Brackle's timeline, I guess.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. The only other thing, Brackle was he almost drowned in the underneath the prison, and was saved by a demigod named Sekola, who you may remember from chapter 1. He was only mentioned a few times, but he is vying for Brackle's patronage to take levels in Warlock. So that might happen. It might not. Who knows?
I'll be back. I get some water.
I want to go to Vault of the Gods.
What?
You want to go where?
Vault of the Gods.
That's where that one shot was.
Yeah, hey, there's Nox.
That's where
Nox, yep.
all of the characters from the other games were playing in a party, and they all got sent back to their homes.
Ragna knows Nox is a fun city.
Yeah, just so you know, Pisco, level 16 Ragna is not any less broken.
Well, what I have written, I think, should get you guys to level 9. So on the way.
Almost there.
Oh wait. Lost Mines, is that what we're doing for November?
I think so. Is that what everyone decided?
I don't know if we ever decided 100%.
It sounded like a lot of people were on board. I don't remember exactly, but
I've just been working on it slowly, but there's plenty there to do.
I actually, it's been so long, I don't have a character sheet for Lucius anymore. So I could recreate it. I don't remember any of the stats. I remember some of the magic items I gave him.
Oh yeah, because I think you weren't on the this is. I don't remember if this was before you started using D&D Beyond or what.
I
remember
it still shows in mine. I think maybe not.
mean, he's definitely not on my list of characters.
No.
Canceled for his racist behavior.
If you have him somewhere in your campaign, maybe
he's gone.
somehow copy that. But he's gone.
Gone for it.
Well, we can just make another racist elf. That's fine.
You can just make another monk that's level whatever.
He was a genasi.
Oh, he was
Yeah,
nice.
all right.
Yeah, he's a monk. Right?
All right, shall we move forward from where we?
Justifyingly, his temple was attacked by dwarves.
Well, it's been like an hour and a half, so do we want to take a break or?
Yeah, thanks for DMing for the first third of our session today.
Okay, in 40 minutes, I get to check my my smoker on my pork roast. So, then
Perfect.
yeah.
That was a thorough recap. I feel like I'm in it now.
I feel like I honestly missed a lot, but
I don't know where I come into the story in any capacity, but we'll find out. That's Barlow's job. So
it is my job.
How many real quick before we get started? How many episodes was there, or how many sessions was there for chapter 2?
AJ Rad
20,
like 20.
No, between upper 20s. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how many videos are on that playlist.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it.
One shot and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that.
I'd say 25 probably.
I was thinking because I was like, okay, if they're like 3 hours a piece, 25. I was like, I could do that. Like, I could do that over a week, like just throughout the day.
Yeah, I do it at work because I can middle of the night. I'm not really needing.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have a playlist. There's 33 episodes of Ties Chapter 2.
Nice. Very nice.
So probably 30. Because one of them was one session was that entire prologue of you guys fighting Visick as your level 20 characters, and then one session was the one shot.
The Fall to the Gods.
I think he missed an episode or two as well, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Around 30, we'll say that. All right. Picking up from that wonderful recap. Really, I'm listening through. I don't know that you missed any of the big beats. That was great. We're going to begin where we left off last time. Silgath and Eleanor have been murdered by Visick in a display of power and control. The party has journeyed back to Mir via Windwalk, thanks to Teth, and is met with universal grief from its citizens. The party separates, each member contemplating their recent actions, as well as their next moves. As a blessing to the community, Teth has flushed the Tree of All Seasons with divine energy, causing its branches to thrive and blossom with new leaves and buds. Looking closer at each member of the party NPC-wise, as Teth is doing this, you can see Warwick pushing Belle's chair. She is in a wheelchair. He's pushing Belle's chair back to her lab. He's only using one hand to push, while the other is holding hers over her shoulder. Gale stands leaning on the inner wall of Silgath's house. Her stance does not seem stable, and several of the pieces used to rebuild her frame are ill-fitting and rusted. Flynn, always resolute, stands guard at the gate where it was once common to see Eleanor. Her crow now sits on his shoulder. With nowhere else to turn, Philip sits just inside the southern gate in shock. He's comforted by Beth, who's using her magic to warm him in the brisk autumnal weather. And from the roof of the barracks, Des looks on as the great tree glows with a brilliant white light. He holds a piece of brown fabric in his hands, running his thumb across the tattered surface. I'd now like to turn to Vern. Vern, all of this has transpired. You're looking around the square of Mir, and you're seeing all of your compatriots in different forms of mental and physical health. What are you doing in this moment?
So Vern will look around nervously and see Beth in the distance and just utter a little sigh of relief that Beth's okay. Then, I don't know. This is a lot for Vern. I feel like maybe to start things off, I don't think he's gonna be leading any motivational speeches or trying to get the group focused. I think he'll take out the orb and kind of stare at it with contempt a little bit, thinking that this thing caused so many problems and it's just a well-polished rock. And I think he'll just kind of silently brood over the orb as his first response to this ordeal. You're muted.
I'm gonna move to Eric. Eric, you're seeing all of these things. What is your immediate reaction as you're within the walls of Mir once again?
I guess Eric's first thing is heading over to get a closer look at Gale, and if she's sort of posture suggesting that her frame is needing any mending, possibly my cantrip can help with her.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
I just remembered how weird Gale is. It makes me happy.
4.
Great start to the campaign.
Yeah. Kick off to chapter 3.
Also, this is exactly why I had a halfling in the last campaign. So I could
Man, and that's with a +2. That's awful.
I have inspiration, but I don't know if I should use it.
Above game? No. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a 4, you can tell that there is enough foundational damage regarding the parts that she had to just make do with to rebuild the pieces that she needed. It's just a little bit past your capabilities for mending as far as just magical on the spot healing goes. You think that maybe you could lend a hand magically if somebody else that's more well versed in robotics like Vern, or maybe if you find Zethlo or something like that, you could definitely assist, but it's something that you would not be able to do on your own.
Okay. So I guess I kind of get that, make a look. I'm just probably just like staring at Gale at this point. She's like wondering like what's up. And,
yeah. How long are you staring at her?
To get that kind of check there. I mean, obviously with a 2 or whatever, it's probably longer than I needed would normally need to.
She'll kind of put a brave face on and kind of slough off the pain a little bit, and she'll say, "Do you need something?"
Just very nervously, it's like, "You're good." You just hand signal.
She will she will not reciprocate any hand signals back to you. She will walk inside of the building that she's leading next to and get away from you.
And I just sort of just like turn that into like a thumbs up and like walk over. And now I'm going to Bell and Warwick.
Okay. We'll leave you at the doorway to Bell's lab. Oh, Billy is gone. Oh, there you are. Perfect. We're gonna switch over to Teth. As you're lighting up the tree, Teth, you don't have much autonomy to walk around like everybody else does. You're pretty much tied to the base of this tree. So as you're doing this, it takes like a significant amount of time, right? This is a pretty long spell.
Yes. So
is that like 6 hours?
I will pull it up. I believe it's 8.
Okay, so you're there for a while.
Yeah.
Which is good. That'll lead us to the amount of time that Mara and Urzak need.
Yeah.
So you're about halfway through. It's getting into the nighttime. It's cooler outside. People are still kind of gathering out, but you start to notice that the crowd that's watching you begins to dissipate a little bit, either from the cold or just lack of interest, or they want to go home and grieve by themselves. But as you're lighting up this tree, you've been doing it for several hours at this point. A villager will begin to approach you. She doesn't say anything, but she puts her hand on your shoulder as you are channeling magic into the tree. A couple minutes go by, and a second slowly approaches, and he does the same. He'll come over to your other shoulder and place his hand on you. And gradually, over time, over the next 5-10 minutes or so, others begin to walk up to the base of the tree, and more start circling around you, grasping either to you if they can reach you, or to the nearest villager to you. And before long, the tree is surrounded on all sides by Myrians, all connected to each other by physical touch and through your magic. The villager that first approached speaks softly over your shoulder, and she says, "My brother, you were with him at the end. Beth says you are to be trusted. Would you please lead us in a prayer?"
Above game, is this something that I can do without breaking, or maybe I can use it as contribution to the ritual?
I would say Teth would be able to do this and kind of channel it in the same thought process as what you're doing.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, Teth will he'll look to the individual who's speaking. You wish for me to speak and lead a prayer for Silga?
Please, if you would.
Of course. Yeah, Teth will kind of nod, and then usually he does this sitting down, but in this instance, he's going to kind of stay focused. And he's going to reach his hands out to his sides of his head and begin to accumulate white energy at his fingertips, and then he's going to place them just above his eyes. And he's going to kind of make small circular motions above them briefly. And arcane sigils, pretty much from his neck up, so his just entirety of his head, there's different arcane sigils kind of flaring, kind of like a small, imagine like a small like light display, I guess, where it's like, it's made start over here, and then it goes over here, and then just periodically will flare up. And these look like, I would say, yeah, they're definitely divine based arcane magic, and it's probably just something that is built into his body, just whatever crazy magic that was used, or combination of magics that was used. It's the divinity is flaring, and as he focuses more and more, the energy that was pulsing through his fingertips slowly start to bleed from his eyes and kind of start to flow out into the air and then just dissipate. And then Death will begin to speak. And he would be addressing I'm assuming there's a small crowd, DM, at this point.
We'll say, with the time it took to accrue and with others gathering in and catching on to what was happening, you have at least 35, 40 people around you at this point.
Okay. And these are mostly like I know that before this, some of the key players kind of had a little session from the village. This is probably a lot of the general townsfolk and that sort of thing, right? Or is it?
It would largely be the people that were not there, didn't have a lot of personal stake in what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Keeper of Souls and Servants of Transition. We seek your assistance and blessings for the recently lost. Please send Silgath to eternal peace, for he is the father of Mir. And then Teth will kind of gesture towards the tree that he's working on currently with his ritual. May this tree provide a beacon for when he visits from beyond the veil. Until all are one. And then he'll kind of nod his head, take his fingers off his head, and then continue to kind of start working on the tree.
Nobody from the crowd really says anything to you after that, but you can hear some quiet cries and some sniffles throughout the crowd. Some people either agreeing with you to themselves, the Azurian form of, saying amen, or, in whatever
recognition
delineation, whatever they feel is appropriate to call out in that moment. And after maybe 15-20 minutes or so, people standing there still, connecting to you, starts to break off and dissipate. And after about half an hour, 45 minutes, you are alone again at the tree. Ready to serve out your last 2 hours or so into the nighttime by yourself.
Just the last, it's not bad the first 4 hours, but then when you get into hour 5 and 6, it starts really dragging on. Good thing I don't need to sleep or breathe.
Right. We're going to shift to Urzak really quickly. Urzak, you have just witnessed, all within the matter of a couple minutes, the acquisition of a new home base that has been bequeathed to you by Mara. You have sacrificed her at your own hand at her behest, and you have witnessed the true resurrection of a 100% living human version, non-Dampier Eleanor rematerializes in front of you. She is crying. She has not said anything, and she is very warm, like physically hot to the touch. What are you doing? Because this is where we cut off at the last chapter.
Dragon breath.
Ah!
Gonna cool her down. I don't know, man.
Embrace her.
I think the first thing that Urzak would do is see to Marwill's corpse. I'm assuming her body's still there.
Yes.
So
right at your feet.
He would probably there's a moment where he's like He's standing above her body with a bloody sword at this point, right?
Yep.
Uh,
I believe it is not your sword, though, right? I think you used one of Coralon's swords.
that sounds right.
If I remember correctly, you did not use the sword of Lindis.
Still in my hands, though.
If it makes any difference to you, yeah.
I think he would go to be attentive to like cover up the corpse, and then realize that he's standing over a body in front of Eleanor at this point, and he would turn to her and say, "Are you aware of what happened here?" Or do
She
I have
barely
some
go
explaining to
ahead.
do?
You get the idea that she doesn't even really notice Morrowill being there. She seems relatively unfazed even by the sword in your hand. She is just taking in all of the new sensations that she hasn't experienced for however long, certainly more than a decade. The need to eat and drink that she hasn't experienced for all of those years, the flowing of blood through her body, the need to regulate her body temperature, and all of these other things that living creatures have to worry about, to the point that it becomes subconscious, that she hasn't had to regulate for herself for all of these years of her life. You can tell that she is incredibly overwhelmed, and she almost doesn't even say anything intelligible. She just kind of stammers a couple seconds and looks at you very confused. And she'll instinctively grab for her crow, which is normally on her shoulder, and B, her axes, which are normally on her hips. And she does not find either of those things. So that sends her into a bit of a panic, because she doesn't. You can tell that she is. She doesn't know where she is and why she is here feeling this way.
Urzak will. He's gonna clean the blood off of the sword, and we'll turn to her and say, "Don't worry, we're somewhere safe for now." And he's gonna reach into his backpack, and he's going to pull out a mirror and hand it to Eleanor. And he's going to motion towards one of the chairs by the table in the room. Say, "Here, just have a seat. Take some time. I've answered all of your questions when I'm able to."
She will take one look in the mirror and promptly pass out. Overwhelmed, overheated, undernourished for a decade, and realizing that her skin color, eye color, and hair color are all what they used to be when she was living. Faint memories at this point, now back as a reality. And she will pass out in a chair around that main desk.
Zach's just gonna let out a sigh and just rub his forehead. You'll drag her over to one of the bigger, comfier chairs in the room and set her there, and pull her coat over her while he'll probably grab like a bedroll and some blankets, stuff like that, and begin to dress Marvel's body in a more presentable manner until they can give her a proper burial rite and such. And he'll after that he's gonna actually just walk around the bunker and intimately acclimate himself to everything here. He's taking in the space. Apparently, the owner of this place now. So he's going to spend his time getting acquainted with every little detail of the place that he can until Elnor is conscious again.
Perfect. Do you fall asleep here, or do you go back to Mirror?
I don't think he would do anything until Elnor woke up.
Okay.
He'd probably just stay up.
Roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please. You're not in imminent danger, nor are any of your loved ones.
Hey, another fat 2.
Okay. Give me a percentile roll. The threshold that you need to meet is 60%. Hey, nice. Yeah. So you are exhausted, but you push through. You want to make sure that you are awake when Eleanor gets up, and you successfully. Oh, that's so weird. That really just
goes to chat.
registers everything. That's crazy. Donovan is exhausted. Level 1.
Not Urzak. Donovan.
That's so funny. Yeah, you make sure you are staying awake. You want to be there when she wakes up, so you gain as much intimate knowledge as you can of which portals go where. Maybe you even step through a few of them just to see where they lead on the other side. See how they operate, where you have to stand, things like that. You start rifling through a couple of things at Marawill's desk and some of the bookshelves there as well. At that point, I am going to ask you to roll another Constitution saving throw for me, please.
A little better.
Hell yeah. Give me a percentile roll. Your threshold is going to be 40%.
60.
Nice. Cool. So you go through Marawill's paperwork at her desk. It's a lot of partially completed spells. You can surmise. You see that she's been working on quite a few things. A lot of them have to do with healing and safety as far as journeying through the cerebral realm goes. She is very interested in making that a viable means of transportation, either for her or for people that she works with, making it as safe as possible. A lot of things you could see focus on the maintenance of concentration. You would know from your brief experience in the cerebral realm that one false thought or one bad move or bad decision can wind you up on the opposite side of the continent where you don't want to be. So she was working on spells to make sure that people's focus lasts longer down there so they can get where they need to go faster and with more safety. One final Constitution save for me, please, Urzak. Nice. All right. One last percentile roll. You're with a 21. I'm going to put that threshold at 20%.
78.
Nice. All right. You definitely stay up until Eleanor gets back up, and we're going to cut you off there. Nice. You discovered a lot about the bunker on your first night.
Sweet.
Cool. Now, the last little intro piece before we start into the downtime vignettes. we're going to first, actually, Michael Fitzko. Why don't you describe your character for us, please?
Oh, okay. Um, Zakai is he's a human. He's got relatively tan skin. He's outside a lot, so gets a lot of sun. He's pretty average build, I guess, a little taller than average, maybe 6 feet. Um, he's probably mid 30s, roughly. His hair is completely salt and pepper, though. Think like Clooney in like the Batman and Robin years. Um, he's got a. He typically wears. He's either in like a priestly, robes that are pretty simple. There's nothing super extravagant about them. It's just a lot of black robes with purple adornments. Um, or if he is out on a field assignment or doing something away from the city or away from the temple, he typically wears some shiny, breastplate armor, and he has like a almost like a purple cape around the mantle that kind of flows down his back a little bit. But um, he's always seen, if he's away from the temple, he carries kind of a tall, almost like a tower shield in one hand that he can strap to his back that has a giant image of an eyeball on it. Um, and he just always carries a pretty ornamental rod at his hip that is with him at all times. That it's got a interesting, I don't know, just like a almost like an ornamental pattern at the top as like a staff head, but it's in the shape of I forgot. I have to look it up now. You told me what it was, and then I forgot.
Was it the symbol that we were talking about yesterday?
Yeah.
That's like a coil, like a coil of rope.
Yeah, so it's like a coil of rope, but but it's frayed at both ends is what it is. So it's almost like like the medical caduceus staff where it's like the snake and the staff kind of intertwined. It's like that, but the two heads of the serpents are instead of serpents, it's like rope with frayed coil at the ends. That's him.
Awesome. So we are going to meet Zakai for the first time, and he is in his home ministry. Zakai hails from the city of Cassis. We've talked about that a little bit. It is a relatively holy city with temples and churches dedicated to pretty much any god you can think of at varying degrees of volume and size. He works as a bishop, archbishop, deacon. What's your official title?
He is the archbishop of the church of Cassis.
Nice. So we're going to see him exiting the church, and he is going to be heading back to wherever your quarters are. Do you live at the church, or do you have separate quarters out within the city?
There's like a cloistered home that's like within like the same block that a lot of the people from the church live in after they reach a certain age. So they have like it's another separate building where he grew up as a kid, where that is more like you know, kids to young adults to, and then once you are, an adult, then if you still don't have anywhere to go and you're dedicated to the church, you can join the ministry and live in there, essentially a barracks, but not for war.
Gotcha. So you are exiting the church. You're walking back to your cloistered home, and you Make a, well, you're going to beat whatever perception check I give to you. So you hear the pitter patter of little feet behind you, and there are a couple kids that are running around. They're playing in the street. Make a dexterity saving throw for me, please, Sakai.
So good at that.
You know they're coming, but you just can't avoid them.
That's a 4.
The kids run right into you and they knock you over. You fall prone on the cobbles below. And one of the kids, he's kind of on the outside, so he's saved. But the one that ran directly into you kind of tumbles over with you. Scrapes his knee up pretty badly on the cobbles, and he drops a toy that he was playing with. He's maybe 9 years old, 10 years old, both of them. And you can see it. It's like one of those little, if you guys remember, like the ducks or the turtles that you used to pull by the string, and it had wheels on it, and they would like bob their heads. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's a big snake. It's like a cobra snake with the whole ornamental head. And you look down, and as you fall on the ground, it almost looks like this toy snake is looking right at you, right into your eyes. And the kid apologizes. He's, I'm so sorry, mister. I wasn't looking where I was going. The other kid's like, you idiot, your dad's gonna be so mad at you. And then they pick up their snake and they run away really quickly. But that vision, that image of that snake looking at you, for whatever reason, it leaves an imprint in your brain, and you can't quite shake it. Please make a charisma saving throw, please.
I'm so good at that too. Oh, that one's not bad. That's a 20.
Nice. Yeah, nothing else happens after that. You head home unaccosted at this point. No more kids knocking you over. But the next couple hours until you go to sleep that night, you just keep looking into your memory at that little toy snake and how it happened to fall right in the right spot to be in your eye line perfectly.
Don't like that. That's uncomfy.
Uncomfy. All right. Now it's time for downtime. We're going to start with Urzak. Urzak, this is day 1 of your downtime. This is the day after all of the events that just happened. You wait until Eleanor is awake. You notice that she has cooled down significantly after her rest. She seems to be much more lucid. You explain to her everything that happened. And she gives you some tips on how to adorn Mara Will's body for some type of service in Mir, assuming that something will happen there eventually. Until you do fall asleep. Both of you fall asleep, kind of poring over some of Mara Will's documents at her desk. Until you are abruptly awoken from your slumber, seated but hunched over in Mara Will's chair. Her writings, the gift of the hideout to you, her half-finished scrolls, they're all still laid out in front of you on the desk. The transport panels, you notice, around the outer ring of the structure that usually emit bright colors have gone dark. You only have a few candles in the middle of the bunker. I'll actually pull this up so it can make more sense. Everything is dark. You only have a few candles and your limited blind sight to see around you. Things are misplaced, not as you remember them being where they were when you fell asleep. And at the very limit of your vision, in the doorway, a small figure appears, holding a candle with blue wax, bearing a blue flame. The figure you recognize. It is Seraphina Shaw.
The first thing Urzak's gonna do is cast Dragon Breath. No.
Always the solution.
I'm gonna throw up dancing lights in the area to light everything up.
I'm gonna have you roll a percentile die as you do that.
There is one fruit fly that I'm gonna fucking murder. Just not leave me alone right now. 99.
Yeah, you can successfully throw up your dancing lights. Any of the dancing lights that end up outside of your range of blind sight, you cannot see them.
The only thing I can see is the only thing that permeates the darkness is the blue light in the candle.
You have actually, well, let's get all of these out of here. So you have, we'll say, this candle is lit. This candle on your desk. These two lanterns over here. Maybe these ones behind you. These are emitting a very, very dim light with very small radiuses. And then active allies. There we go. Shaw is in this doorway right in front of you. So she is holding a candle. And that's the only thing that you can see outside of that radius, other than the other candles.
Where did Eleanor fall asleep?
We'll say she fell asleep. You were both kind of working together. She would have fallen asleep at the desk next to you. Okay. Maybe right here.
Is she there?
Nope.
Well, Urzak's first reaction is that this is not real, or that he's dreaming of some sort.
Make a perception check.
It's a fat 3.
You are actually not sure. As much as logic would tell you that things are too far out of place, you should be able to see more. Eleanor should still be there. Shaw is not in this bunker. There are seeds of doubt that are pretty deeply rooted in that logic. And you are unsure. You don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna stand up from his chair.
Okay.
And he's gonna put his hand on the hilt of his sword.
Okay.
And he's gonna...
as you go to reach for your sword, you notice that it is the sword of Coralon that you used to kill Marwell, and it still has blood on it. You currently are not holding the sword of Lendis.
And I know for sure I wiped the blood off that sword.
Do you?
I said it out loud.
I know. I heard you say it out loud, but Urzak might not. He second guesses everything that he did in the past couple hours at this point.
He's just gonna put his hand on the hilt of the sword. He's gonna say, "Who are you?"
You will hear a very distinct and obvious laugh from Robert Visick coming out of Shaw's mouth.
What do you want? Why are you here?
Just checking in. It's been some time since I've been able to speak to you directly.
Visick, what's your game? What are you after? What do you want?
I think a better question for our situation right now is, what might you want? I am appearing in a subconscious of yours after all. Who knows if this is my doing or yours?
This is my subconscious. Would explain why you won't answer my fucking question.
If we go by that logic, I only know what you know, my friend.
So, why am I here?
You killed a friend tonight. Because she asked you to do it.
Urzak doesn't have words.
It's not the first time you've seen yourself killing that friend before, is it? Listen. Maybe it's a bit much for me, for you, to make me appear as Silgath's living dead daughter. Maybe I should have appeared as myself. Maybe I should have come as Marawil, Endrul, any number of your fallen siblings. Why do you think you're still standing? And so many others directly around you have perished.
Suppose the obvious answer is because I'm strong, but I wasn't strong enough.
Nobody is strong enough to prevent the death of others, Azak. Not even Robert Visick. But it does seem very strange. Number of family, friends, loved ones that are still living, associated with all of your friends. Hell, the Wellaby boy, he thought that his parents died 20 years ago. And that might not even be true. Who knows? But your sisters, your brothers, your friends, close acquaintances even, get too close. Urzak, the Blade of Lendis. and they meet their demise. That's your fault.
Urzak wants to wake up from the stream more than anything. He's going to pull the blade from its sheath and slit his own throat.
As you go to move it, it will burst into a bunch of feathers as it makes contact with your throat. Just poofs away. Not that easy, my friend. I'm afraid you're doomed to survive while others fall all around you. And I didn't mean it's your fault like you've killed them. Except for Mara will, of course. You did kill her. Just fault of circumstance, I suppose. You're a tool, Urzak.
He's gonna fall to the ground on his knees and just, like, put his hands over his ears and close his eyes and just kind of have a manic episode.
You will feel Shaw's hands on your shoulders behind you. Much, much faster than she could have ever gotten there in person. She is immediately behind you. And you'll hear his voice right in your ear. I'll say, try as you might, my friend, to ignore the problem. Tools can be broken and misused, but only if the operator of those tools don't take care of them. Remember that. Who is misusing you, Urzak? And at that point, you will snap out of your sleep. You are sweating, breathing heavily, sitting in the chair at the desk. All is right in the bunker. Eleanor is asleep next to you at the other desk chair. And Shaw/Visick is nowhere to be seen.
Just Urzak just goes back to sleep. Tries to. I don't know.
Fair. We will. If you don't want to do anything else, we'll move on to the next one. We're gonna skip Breckles for now. We're gonna move on to Eric. We're on day 2 of the downtime. Eric, you've had a little bit of time to kind of process the events of the day before. You've had a full night's rest. The mood generally in Mir, as far as you can tell, is a little bit better about a day and a half afterwards. So you feel like it is an appropriate time to slip away to make good on a promise that you had made a couple days prior. How do you get back to the city, Eric?
I was thinking transport via plants.
Okay. Which plant are you going to transport into?
So I do remember at least it was a market tree near the general store.
Yes, there is a tree that you did make note of as you were leaving before.
I mean, as you saw maybe in the Discord chat, I was asking about Bell and Warwick and Philip. I was only doing that because I thought we were gonna role play. Maybe we don't have to. Basically, because they were being like choke held by Visick. I at least wanted to go over and comfort the NPCs, or just whatever,
Well, yeah, we can certainly role play that. We'll go actually. Yeah, we'll go back and do that as a prologue later, because I like that.
I don't know if they're traumatized by it or anything.
I suppose no more than anyone else, but
as
so
for
transport view plants.
yeah, I was gonna disrobe from the night before. So
Okay.
this is the morning when I'm teleporting. So I didn't have spell slots for sure. And disrobing from my armor, so I'm not recognizable in the city. I just want to be in my traveler's clothes, and I still think Helen would recognize me from our close interactions earlier. So
Helen would definitely recognize you. You promised her a new house in 3 days. The worker of miracles. So she is, she is actually, as you come out of the tree, you see her actually.
I have a cool
Go
little
ahead.
description. I think last time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, this time I was kind of thinking, take the heel of my boot, kick 2 holes about 4 or 5 feet apart from each other in front of the tree of all seasons. Just 2 kind of like little nondescript seeds, drop them in, close up the hole, and pour some water, just regular water over it. And I'm doing my spell energy. Sorry, the water's coming from, because last time I made a little rain cloud, and then roots came out, like little ivies and vines, create like a little like trellis or doorway. So that's kind of
really
how
cool.
it looks when you transport via plants.
You just step on through.
And then step on through.
Nice.
Probably would look like I don't know how it would look on the other end, because there's no like gateway.
You just poof into existence.
Like I just fall out.
We can say that
from the
the vines can just come up and make an exit hole for
it just in symmetry do it for both trees, I guess.
you. Yeah.
I was wondering maybe he like falls out of a branch or something.
Falls down from the tree. Yeah. So as you exit the tree on the other side, first of all, make a give me a stealth roll.
Okay. Let me. It's usually a disadvantage with my armor, so let me.
If you're out of the armor, yeah.
Yeah, let me unequip here real quick. Okay.
Dang. Nobody notices you get out of that tree. You blend in. You've picked the perfect outfit. In fact, a group of travelers happen to be passing through the main marketplace that are all wearing similar colors to you. So you have picked the exact correct day to come back to the city square here to help Helen Mirren with her mold problem. You blend in perfectly. You will have no problems walking around at least this market district. If you go outside of this place, there could be problems, but you're blending in plain sight. As you exit the tree, you approach the building and you see Helen actually repainting the outside. The outside is largely unaffected by any mold. She seems to be of sound mind. She is currently whitewashing the outside of the house, getting it ready for a layer of new paint. And as you approach, she turns around and gives you a huge smile. She says, "Oh, did you get the thing you were looking for?"
Absolutely, Helen. I found a very intelligent artificer with a special formula that'll deal with your store. How are you? And I try to greet her with a hug. That's appropriate to her.
Yeah, she would reciprocate that. You promised to help her out, and healed her last time you saw her. She reciprocated the hug. She said, "It's so good to see you. I've been very well, spending time with the boys while the shop has been closed down. Very excited to get back in and reorganize, though."
I see the painting project looks well on the way. What color did you decide?
We're thinking a nice bright blue.
Bright blue and what stripes of white for your favorite caster nation? I get it.
She she will not take that very well, actually. Eric with the foot in the mouth at all times.
Oh yeah.
Just say, well, I don't mean to be rude. I don't know about that. Honestly, I hadn't thought about that until you've just said that. Maybe I'll reconsider. A healthy green or robust yellow.
I've been out of the city. I forgot the power vacuum and Cerberus's dominance is. How is that going?
Such a nonchalant way to. How is that power vacuum and dominance going?
Vacuum, that's right.
How's the complete corruption and disorder going?
Can you come up and say hi to everybody?
Beginning of Archer's.
Yes.
arc.
Let's go to the Game of Thrones secrets of or Gardens of Secrets.
Oh.
You say hi.
What is that?
Say hi, dude. Good job.
I'll get down.
You wanna get down?
Yeah.
Are you going night night?
Oh.
Yeah?
No.
No?
No.
No, you're going night night. You're gonna go night night with Mama.
No, what?
Hey, what time is it?
What are these?
Letters.
No, they're not tractors. They're avocados.
Avocado.
Do that.
Good job. Good job.
Upside down.
It is upside down. You're right. All right.
Bob holding you.
I am holding you. You're right.
All right. Say goodnight, dudes.
Bob sitting down.
Papa's sitting
Yeah.
down.
Say night night, guys.
Oh, massage.
Massage.
Yeah, that is a massager. You're right.
All right. Tell them goodnight.
Say night night. Can you wave?
Night night.
Say bye,
Wave, wave.
dudes.
Night.
Papa now.
Oh, see Papa now. Can you
Thank
give
you for the
Papa
hug.
meaty kisses?
No.
No. Are you shy? Are you too shy to give kisses on camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Hey, are you gonna have a good sleep with Mama?
In you.
The microphone is in there. You're right.
All right.
All right, baby. You smell like citronella.
We were outside and got natural bug repellent on. Oh,
All right. Love you, buddy.
Mama.
you're welcome. Say love you, Pops.
Yes, Papa.
Thanks
Love
for
you,
working.
buddy.
Give him love kisses.
Mwah.
Say sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams. Good night.
See you, dude.
He's talking like crazy, man. It's wild.
He says, dude.
Yeah. See ya, dudes. Night night, dudes. Yeah. So she is going to tire of this conversation very quickly. She has no interest in talking about Cerberus. She wants to get this over with at this point. It is no longer a joyous reunion. So she's going to say, still very politely, she'll say, well, you know, the capital city is always going to be the capital city, of course. Might we try going inside? You, of course, not me. I've done that far too much.
Yes, I see things have been a little bit out of or in disorder. Let's get things back in order and back in business.
Of course. Well, and she'll take kind of like a not caution tape, but a strip of paper that she has placed across the doorway. She'll rip through it and unlock the door for you, and she'll say, "Please, whatever you need, I'll be safely outside. Thank you." And
It'll
she'll
not
open
be
the
long.
door really gingerly and kind of very quickly back away from the door.
And I'll tell her it won't be too long before this is treated. Unless, of course,
Perfect.
it takes time to, to sit. But I don't, as a player, know that.
Depends on how you roll, I suppose.
Okay.
It takes like 6
probably
weeks.
should've
It's like,
promised.
where'd it go?
Yeah.
No more vignettes for Eric. He's just dealing with mold. It's chapter 5. Eric
I
rejoins
tracked,
the party.
yeah, we find him in the sewers. He's like, I tracked this mold infestation down to the sewers.
I almost have it. It's almost gone. So as you walk in, Eric, it is in much worse sorts than when you left. You could tell that the reason she was so affected by this mold was it was just brimming under the surface to start overtaking some of these countertops and cabinets and things like that. You can see it creeping around the corners of the ceiling, like by the molding. You could tell that it was a very nice establishment before this took over. But it is pretty much on any surface you can see all around. I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw upon walking into the building, please.
Okay.
"13 meets it. Good. You avoid immediate exposure to the disease. And since you saved, you're going to be good to go. You will not be diseased this entire time. That's a big plus for you. Good job. What's your plan of action? You have this potion in a vial, and Belle also gave you a spraying type of attachment that you can use. But it's up to you to decide how you disperse this.
I suppose I would assess the mold. I know you said it's kind of just permeated everything.
Mm-hmm.
I still kind of think that I would place it on all the, or spray it on the walls and the ceiling.
Okay.
And then the floor. And if I feel like the building itself, like if the spray isn't doing it, cutting it, then the shelves can be dispensable.
Gotcha.
I might treat the shelves if I feel like it'll work too.
Okay. I would like you to make an intelligence check, a straight intelligence check. But you can use your proficiency bonus. You can add your proficiency bonus.
I'd also like to give myself guidance too.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, you can do that.
Looking around, like, I've got my work cut out for me, and give myself guidance.
Yep, this will be an intelligence check to figure out how best to calibrate the sprayer. And this will decide how much surface area you can affect.
Okay. Uh, 15.
Okay. Is that with your +5?
Oh, sorry, no.
So you got a 20. Okay.
Yeah, I missed the proficiency.
Yeah, that's your proficiency bonus because you're using your herbalism kit.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, with a 20, you make sure that all of the clasps are on tight, all of the nozzles are secured firmly, and you make sure that no air is leaking out anywhere. So it is spraying out this potion in a very thin line, and you're going to maximize your surface area for sure. So you start going on the walls and the ceiling, and you notice as you start spraying it, it almost immediately begins to recede the mold. If you wait a couple moments, it recedes all the way back into what you would assume to be the starting point, the origin of each cluster of mold. So you would surmise through that, and with a 20, that you don't need to spray all of the surfaces. You just need to spray all of the clusters, and they should take care of themselves.
Okay. Awesome.
As you start spraying, I need another Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. So yeah, I changed my focus and now focus on the clusters.
Looking at your character sheet, I see that you are immune to the poisoned condition. Instead, I'm going to not make you immune to this poison, but you can roll this with advantage.
Okay.
Not that you needed it, because you just rolled a 22. Jesus. Okay. Just push it even higher. Perfect. Yeah. With a 24, you have no adverse effects from this potion at all. You seem to be well attuned enough with its natural properties. It's not coming back on you in any negative way. With those rolls, it takes you, we'll say, a good half hour to identify all the clusters, make sure that you spray everything down, and you get everything correct. Now you have the issue where you have this vitriolic potion that you have sprayed all over her building. How are you going to take care of that?
Okay. So I'm trying to like look at it, the description.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So I don't want to like it says something. There's a sentence where it says the vegetation can grow back slowly if the potion's removed.
Yes.
So I don't want to do that. Let's see here. I probably want to just look into my herbalism kit and see some kind of like maybe if it's acidic, maybe look for some basic pH components, that I might have.
Okay. Make a medicine check or a nature check, your choice.
Okay. Believe medicine would be better.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely have those components. You probably picked it up in the prison because you got a bunch of really cool new ingredients there. You can definitely find something if you don't have, a basic pH balance. One of the ingredients that you picked up, you can easily fashion something in the moment to do that.
Okay. I know I have a lot of sour grass, and maybe for flavor, it's kind of like just spreading hay out on the floors and
Okay.
and just
Yeah.
it kind of absorbs the potion over time, like just
Yeah. Last check, just to patch things up nice and neatly. Make a nature check for me.
nature. Okay. Ooh, I should do advantage, correct? With herbalism kit.
It doesn't give you advantage. It just lets you add your proficiency
Oh.
bonus. So it's a
I do
plus
want-
5.
I do want to do my inspiration then.
Okay. That's fine. So you have a 13 right now.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, with a 30, you have just enough. You have put this around on this potion, kind of stuck it into the ceilings, into the rafters, around into the cabinets, just enough to make sure it doesn't soak up too much. It kills off the mold, and you could safely say within the next hour or so, you can go back through and collect all of your soaked up sourgrass and dispose of that safely. And you did it. You fulfilled your promise to Helen Mirren. You've saved her store.
What was the actual timeline for that? Like 4 days, 5 days? It was pretty quick, right?
The timeline you gave her originally was
No,
knocking
not
down
3.
her store and rebuilding a new one in 3 days.
Yeah.
Then that was extended to like 3 weeks or something. The timeline for this total work time, you're probably looking at 3 or 4 hours, and then an hour of cleanup afterwards. So it took most of your morning.
Well, I meant sorry. I meant like from when they spoke last to whenever he came back. Like since we left the city.
It actually wasn't that long. I think it was probably 2 days. 2 days or 3 days max. Because this is day 2, so there's 1 day in Mir where you weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think.
So you were pretty quick.
I think 3 days. Yeah. Good job, Eric. Your original
Superhero.
timeline was correct.
Damn.
All right.
Just bow to her and say something along the lines of, lately people in this city have not become a fan of me and some of my friends. Maybe some actions I've committed.
Oh, I don't pay attention to any of those broadcasts. Rumor has it somebody assaulted a man with a crossbow. The nerve.
And I will kind of like hide my crossbow on my cloak.
She will gleefully enter her newly cleaned establishment, just thanking you profusely, not really listening to anything that you're saying at this point because she's just excited to get back inside.
Oh, cool.
Good job, Eric. Those were some beefy rolls. Dang, dude. I don't think you had. I guess other than the 8 that you rolled, yeah. Dang.
No more.
There wasn't
Christmas
one roll
dice.
that counted that that was under 20. That's wild. Moving on to Vern. All right, Vern. We're on day 3 of our downtime, and you have now worked up the courage. You think maybe enough time has passed that Belle would help you out, knowing that you're going to continue adventure in Silgath's name.
Mm-hmm.
You're out of serums. You've used all 5 of your fingers, and you're looking to expand your horizons there.
Right, right.
How do you open this conversation with Belle?
Good morning, Belle. I need you to lend me a hand. And I show her my nubs.
Oh no, I can't hear Trent. Can anybody else hear Trent?
Oh,
yeah,
I hear. Yeah.
Oh,
this
there
is
you
you
are.
again.
okay.
Dang it!
I'm not gonna say my pun. I won't do it again.
Oh, perfect. I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. I'll be like, I'll just say, well, Belle, I know you're an expert in these sorts of things, and I dabble a bit myself. I created some serums, and I use this little contraption of mine to inject it into willing people, but through a what?
I was just laughing. Willing people.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Just to make sure I'm not trying to like threaten anyone here. But through a mishap, my first batch, I got them all mixed up. Which one was which, so I would maybe really like some better direction this time, and was wondering if you could help me create certain magical concoctions that might help my companions as we go forward and try to right these grievous wrongs plaguing Mir and the rest of the continent.
Oh, of course. It's times like this. It's good to bury yourself in some work sometimes. What kind of concoctions were you thinking of? What kind of effects?
Well, I certainly magical, and certainly something that's going to maybe help my less magically inclined friends. The entire intention was to share my sorcerer's gift with the world. Those who weren't blessed with inheriting magic like I was. So I want it to be beneficial. I want it to be positive spells that can maybe give them buffs and boosts, or allow them to fire off some heavy-duty magic at least just once, and preferably with minimal side effects. We had some issues with burning and trying to think what else happened. Someone got covered in like scaly sores or something at one point. It was kind of messy.
That sounds horrible. I would never wish that on anybody, especially the sores. That sounds just terrible. Are you thinking the casting of spells that that you could give to them, or more magical effects?
I guess that kind of depends on what you have available to you. I mean, they don't necessarily know this, but one of the ingredients is my blood, and so oftentimes my sort of sorcerer power blended in. But if we can think of a cleaner and safer way to spread the joy of magic, I am all for it, Belle. You just tell us what we need to do.
Nope, blood is great. Blood
is great.
I suppose it's a. May I see the dispenser? Do you have it with you?
Sure. I'll detach my entire hand/arm, and I will give it to her.
Perfect. That was certainly unexpected. She'll grab the serum sachet and kind of pop open the fingers, examine it a little bit, see what kind of encasement is inside, and she'll say, "Ah, well, that's the problem. You weren't holding the serums in an airtight container. Contaminants from the outside were getting in. It may not have been your concoction that was bad. It could have been contaminated over time."
Do you think it's not a good idea that I keep vials of special magic in something that's like literally throwing punches in battle and working as a grappling hook? Is this not the right choice?
Maybe we could make it into a glove or a bracer to go on your other hand, as to not grapple somebody and accidentally pierce them with all 5 fingers.
That'd be a good idea. Or if I just maybe no, I like what you're thinking. Let's just go that direction. I mean, it's kind of cool. I have needles on my
make
stuff,
it into
need them.
a pouch of syringes. I have several leather pouches you could have.
What are our thoughts in instead of stabbing my friends? If we're not gonna do the finger thing, can I suggest that we create some capsules?
Ah, capsules.
Easy to
yes,
swallow pills.
Perfect. Yes. I have an herbalist friend from the capital that we trade now and then. I do have a few empty swallowable capsules we could certainly use for these. Let's start by taking your blood, and we'll go from there. I'm happy to work with you on this. This is very exciting.
Oh, good. Me too. Although when Vern's getting his blood drawn, he kind of whimpers like a baby and he doesn't like the. Ironically, for someone who's very willing to poke his friends with needles, he doesn't like the needle going into his own arm.
Right. With that in mind, so we're going to start with the first extraction of your blood.
Okay.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw, please, Vern.
All right. Let's do this. Oh, it didn't appear in the. There it goes.
23. That was a DC 12. You far surpassed it. Perfect. First dosage is perfect. And you'll see her. She has like a little rack set up with 5 little capsules set in each little dish here, and she'll very carefully inject your first dose of blood into the first capsule. And it's a very specific amount, so she doesn't want to draw all of it at once and have to try and do mental math putting it into each capsule. So she's gonna prick you 5 times and take blood 5 times. Okay. All right, second prick. Good. Constitution saving throw one more time. This is a DC 15.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice. Same deal. She puts it into the capsule. No worries. Number 3 is a DC 16. Con save for me, please. You're starting to get used to it.
Oof.
All right, you're a little bit woozy here. Three draws right in a row. You're thinking maybe 3 could be a stopping point. You're not fainting by any means, but you're definitely a little bit lightheaded.
Okay.
With an 8, because that was a nat 1. With an 8, she's gonna recognize that right away. She'll say, I've treated enough people. I can see the the deadness behind the eyes sometimes. The stars are kind of appearing in your vision. Are you okay to continue?
He concentrates on his friends, and he nods his head, kind of grabbing the table to sort of brace himself because like just nodding his head kind of made him dizzy.
Okay. Okay, Vern. Number 4. Here we go. Almost done. Then we can think about what we want to put into your concoctions. Okay. 4th Constitution saving throw, please. This is a DC 17.
Oh, because I'm not doing well, right? Oh no.
Oh. So she got it. She got the full sample. It wasn't a nat 1. She puts it into the capsule. She has 4 completed with your blood. She turns around and she sees that you're very woozy. She'll say, I think maybe professional judgment, we should stop and reconvene a different time. If you think that's best. Obviously, I'll keep going if you want to, but maybe now's the time to stop.
And then he thinks about it, and he's trying to count the number of friends he has that would even be able to digest pills, and he realizes that 4 is fine. And he's like cutting it off. Like that's enough.
She'll say perfect. She'll give you a little Band-Aid over your retrieval site on your arm, and she's gonna give you she'll give you like a little candy stick, like a sugar stick, to just make you feel a little bit better. She'll give you a little cup of water, maybe with some lemon, hot water with lemon, and she'll say, "Just take it.
That's very nice.
Take a few moments. I'll clean up around here, and we can discuss what we want to put into your serums. They're all done with your blood, and we just need to put the other ingredients in there."
Okay, Vern really enjoys the sugar stick. Vern is very cautious when he sips the hot tea or the water, the lemon, because the last time it was scalding. And I know this is a different woman, but still, this village and hot drinks. He's wary
Burn me
of,
once.
So. Don't burn the Vern.
With 2 failures right in a row, it takes you about half an hour to get back into sound mind. But you feel good again. The sugar stick was almost like magic. Just saves you a little bit, gets you back on track. And she'll present you with this rack of capsules. She'll say, what type of effects are you looking to give to your friends?
Let's see. I can just choose, huh? Let's start off with one that can. What about one that would give them the haste spell that makes them super fast, like they're highly caffeinated?
Absolutely. And she'll look around, and she pulls out a small vial, and it's called liquid licorice. And it's like a little vial of brownish reddish liquid, and she'll inject that into one of the capsules and lets it sit for a moment, and it kind of turns a bright red. And she'll look back at you. What else would you think about for the other 3?
Let's see. Maybe one of my friends, he can do this thing, and he can. I mean, literally just happened to us. We all become vapor, and it's just really impressive. Is there any chance maybe to help a friend get out of a bind? I can make a pill that will just turn that one person into vapor and escape a sticky situation.
Yes. She is going to kind of look around, and you'll see her pull out a small bottle. It looks like there's just smoke inside, swirling around in this bottle. And she sticks her needle in there, her syringe, and she pulls it out, and it enters the syringe just as a liquid would, but it's still just this swirling smoke that you see. And she will inject that into the second capsule, and you can see it mixing with your blood, turning it into almost like a stone gray, really strange, like those glitter lava lamps when you shake them, and it's just like swirling liquid like that. That's kind of what it looks like, with it in a metallic gray. And that she misunderstood you. That is a capsule of gaseous form, not wind.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, it still sounds interesting. Let's see. Well, for the next one, I think we should have something that just can give them a spell that they can use at a moment's notice. And since this is a creation of mine, maybe some sort of lightning spell.
Okay.
As is fitting with my brass? Shoot, what was bronze? Bronze. I think it's
Bronze.
bronze dragon ancestor. Okay.
Yeah, bronze. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she will kind of look around again. This one she finds almost immediately. Tiny little, like those spiked seed balls that fall from like oak trees. She finds a big bottle of those, and she'll pour them out, kind of mortar and pestle them into a fine dust, and she'll pour that into one of her little capsules. And this is a capsule of lightning lure. If somebody takes this capsule, they can cast the cantrip lightning lure for 1 hour.
Okay.
It should be noted, if you're taking these down, cantrip lightning lure scales by your level, and that will go by your current level now. So it would be the 11th level. So it'd be 3d8 damage instead of 1d8.
Okay. Cool. And that can be anyone can do that, right? Not even a non-spellcaster.
Yep.
Cool.
If they take the capsule.
If they take the capsule. And for the last one, let's see. I want to. Do I have to be able to hang on? I don't have to see them. Can I cast message and try to? Do I have any friends that are within what is it, like 120 feet of me? I'm in like a tower, right? I'm in like Bell's Tower.
You are you are on the first floor of the tower. Yes. So right now, I believe the only other person that is doing something, Teth is within your reach.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can also do distance spell. So I can double the range. Does that still just Teth?
I would think that Urzak is back at the bunker, so he would be out of your range.
Right. Okay.
What are you doing on day 3, Eric? This would be the day after you work with Helen.
I guess I would hope to have worked on actually creating some of the healing potions that I know and recipes for the herbalism kit.
Okay. Where are you doing that? Are you going back to your forge right away?
I don't know about that. I think the closest place is the bunker since I'm in the city.
Okay. So Teth is the party member that you are closest to, unless you want to call on an NPC.
No, I'll call Teth.
Okay.
Like the phone a friend. I'll be like,
right.
Hey Teth, yeah. No, wait, how many words do I get in message? Isn't it like a finite 30 or something? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Teth. Okay. I'm making some fun new capsules with spells. If there was any spell that you wish you could cast, what would it be?
Teth will respond. The wish spell.
That's like a horse pill size capsule, probably.
We're gonna do a little bit more blood.
And it's a suppository too.
Do you have any specific parameters? Learn.
No, that's what makes it so difficult, Teth. Just no parameters, just.
Okay, so Yeah, the wish spell would be pretty cool.
What does Bell say about the wish spell?
Absolutely not. Can't be done.
Literally impossible.
I'm sure I could fashion that. It'd be very large and probably take most of the blood from your body, so you would die.
Do it for my friends. No. Okay. Let's see. Um.
Did that help, Vern?
Yes. Thanks, Teth. What if I question? If I let Bell kind of like whip something up, could I? No, I don't know. This is me because I like just stuff being like a chance. What if could I? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay.
She'll say, if you're having trouble deciding, I've made a couple of these before. Obviously, not with your blood. I would never take that without your knowledge.
Mm.
I could just close my eyes and pick an ingredient.
Ooh. What if I just like how about you bring me 3 ingredients and I'm gonna pick whatever I feel most connected to.
Great. Roll 3 percentile dice, please.
Okay.
$26, $37, $19. Perfect.
Is it though?
We'll see. We'll see.
It's not a wish spell.
Certainly not a wish. All right, the first one, the 19, is going to get you a capsule of cordon of arrows.
Okay.
What was the next one? 26. The next one is a capsule of enlarge reduce.
One or the other, or you pick when you take it.
Maybe it's a 50-50 roll.
Oh no.
And the third one, what was the third one? 37. The third one is a capsule of skywrite. Only transmutation today, apparently.
What's the Coralon of not Coralon of arrows? What is it?
Cordon of arrows. It is a it's an ammunition-based spell. I will share it in here real quick.
I mean, we do have a bow now. We have that cool bow. That I don't think I can even use. So I don't know why I'm holding it, but
You can use it.
I can use a bow.
You can use that bow.
Oh.
Have you looked at the bow yet? It's in your character.
I saw the. Well, I scrolled down and looked at the picture. I didn't read it yet.
Cordon of arrows. You plant 4 pieces of non-magical ammunition. Arrow. I don't know how that would work with a capsule. Actually, I'm gonna skip that.
Yeah, let's just replace
Let's
it with
place
something like I
ammunition.
don't know, wish maybe.
I'll start from where Cordon of arrows is on my list and count down from there.
Okay.
If Trent rolls percentile dice, he gets a 69 twice in a row. Wish spell.
Wish spell.
69 is just the spell tongues.
God.
Mirror image.
Instead of Cordon of arrows, oh, this is way better. This is a capsule of wither and bloom.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do wither and bloom.
Passed up on a great opportunity for skywriting.
Well, I mean,
Surrender, Dorothy.
And those Wither and Bloom is cast as a 2nd level spell.
Okay.
At its base level. Very cool. No more serum fingers, but you have capsules, so that's cool.
I do. Also, can I ask, Belle, can you that little like sugary treat you gave me was so delicious. Can you sugarcoat these pills so that they're really tasty and like kind of fruity?
Oh, of course. Hold on 1 second. She'll reach underneath her desk, and she brings out this bucket. And immediately as it comes out from under her desk, and she plops it onto the table, you can smell it. And she says, "Yeah, Warwick and I used to make these. Our mother used to make them for us. We lived on a farm. We made them straight out of the manure of a lot of our animals."
What? That was the really sweet tasting thing you gave me?
Yep.
Was manure based?
Mm-hmm.
Well, damn, that's delicious. Yeah, let's make my friends swallow blood and shit. Let's do it. Coat those bad boys. No one will have to know. I've already ended message. Teth can't hear any of this anymore.
She will coat all 4 of them, and she puts them in a tiny little case, and she will hand that over to you.
Good. Thank you, Belle. I appreciate your help.
Of course, anytime.
Whatever extra blood of mine you have left, I give you permission to do whatever you want with it.
Perfect. Thank you.
In the name of science, you know?
In the name of science, I wish more people thought that way. Absolutely. Great. We're moving on to Teth, also in day 3, around the same time. In the Mirror Barracks, Teth, we see you meeting with Gale. And this is, a few days after everything has happened. Gale has kind of resigned herself to a secluded room in Belle's tower. She's kind of been working on her own bodily parts. She's trying to fix them up as best she can. You still can see that a few of them are a little bit worse for wear, but she's gotten a lot of the big parts that were not available to her in the cells. You can tell that her legs are almost back good as new. One of her arms is still using more rusty parts, ill-fitting parts, but her other arm is operating just fine, and she requested a meeting with you in a more private place. So you meet her, you walk in, and she's not there yet, but you are sitting in the barracks, and you see her open the door and walk on in and start to walk over to you.
Sorry, I was typing. Don't mind me.
It's all right.
I always mute because I have clickety clackety. So you would be talking and you'd hear it click, 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 click.
Right.
Yeah. Clock.
Judge.
You seem to be putting yourself back together well enough.
It's getting there.
You have you had any clarity on how you ended up in the Puro barracks, or anything come back memory-wise?
Still trying to piece that together, unfortunately. I have made made contact with Ramsey. He's okay. He's still back at under the mountain range.
I imagine he's probably gone more than he's there.
Interestingly enough, in the last year or so, he's tried to stay put more than normal.
Huh.
Old age, I guess.
Never thought I'd see the day. You, before you were returned to your self, we had a brief conversation, but you'd mentioned Duke. I believe it was Duke. It's been a really long time, Barlos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think about him often? Or them?
Think about all of us often.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you assist? I guess I never really asked this question. Did you assist in the creation of others past yourself?
Yeah. Been thinking about Duke a lot lately. I think now is probably an opportune time to tell you something I don't know that you ever heard. I overheard you talking to the Dragonborn. You want to put that orb, fix it to your body. For somebody like me that's all metal and wood and magic, I don't see a problem with that. I think you're going to have a tough time, though. And you need to know why.
All ears. I thought, well, I suppose I should let you speak.
The really early versions of us, K1, 2, and 3, they were all experimental. They were essentially meant to be prototypes, but the war at the time was so it was everywhere. They threw them into action before they were even really tested. K2 was not like us, Teth. He was not even really considered a construct by most means. He started as a man. After he died, they started grafting different parts onto him and brought him back to life as some semblance of halfway between me and anyone else that's walking around in this town. As you know, parts from older models were reused after they were deconstructed, put into place in later models. Something you said to me on the way back made me think that this might be the time to tell you this. Only 2 other units were made with parts from K2, Teth. It's you and 6. I have to imagine that The reason you're seeing her is because of the organic matter that's in your body. A problem is you're going to have to choose between becoming one with the orb and keeping her around. I'm worried what will happen if you have to make either of those decisions.
So two is deconstructed, and he was reassembled into 6 and myself.
In layman's terms, yes.
This is gonna sound ridiculous, but does it make sense? Does it make sense that I still see 6 because of that organic matter? Or, I mean, to be honest, I just thought I'd survivor's guilt or was just going insane.
We're not built to have those kind of feelings, Teth. We can malfunction, but we can't go insane.
Yeah. So all this time,
what you thought was in your head was actually just part of your body. It's likely in your chest piece, your shoulders. Those are often the parts that are grafted from other units. And that's where that's where she'd have to put the orb. It wouldn't fit anywhere else.
ugh. So you're telling me that this thing that's kept me alive for 300 years is not a hallucination, that it is real. And I have to decide between I think Teth just kind of stops talking at that point and just kind of is thinking. And then he just kind of nods. And just kind of sits there attentively.
Certainly not in a position to make the decision for you. But think about which of those things will keep you alive for the next 300 years.
He was strong. Visick. He was much worse than before. He was doing things that defied logic as far as what makes sense for magic. the amount of magic that he could concentrate on in one go. It broke the laws of reality, as far as what I could discern.
Seems like you've made up your mind already then.
Or no. Gone this far without an orb.
You haven't come in contact with Visick in a fight thus far.
No. Is it enough to make a difference, though? I suppose if anything would, it would be a fragment of a god of Presidium. One of those situations where at what point do you sacrifice, or how much do you sacrifice to attain what you're trying to accomplish?
That depends on what's at stake to be lost. How much are you willing to risk losing, Teth?
You know, be a lot less difficult of a decision if we hadn't already lost so much.
Factions come and go, Judge. People lose other people all the time. Now you have a chance to make sure that a whole lot of other people don't lose like we have. You can't erase what we did 300 years ago. You can sure try and amend it.
Yeah.
Anyway, figured now is the time to let you know. I'll let you decide in peace. She'll start to get up and walk to the door.
Thank you. Thanks, Gail.
Of course. Also, tell your friend with the top hat, don't touch any more machines next to me, please.
Next to you?
Yeah, anything close to me, I don't want him anywhere near it.
Oh, yes. Of course. I will let him know. He asked me the dumbest question earlier.
What did he say?
He said, if you could have any spell, which one would you have?
Obviously, the wish spell.
Yes, of course.
Right. And of course, he didn't deliver, right?
I didn't rephrase. I didn't. Oh no. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen him since then. So maybe.
Can always hope.
Yeah. I think even in the actual phrase that he asked, he said, "If you could wish for any spell, which one would it be?" It's like,
isn't that just including the thing that you're asking about in the question? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he had more parameters. I think he was trying to figure something out, and I absolutely provided no insight.
You never know. Maybe you helped him a little bit more than you think.
Maybe. But all right, well, I'll leave you to it, and I'm gonna go think for the next 4 days.
And she'll give you a nod and kind of a little a courtesy wave, and she will walk back through the door. It's not often that Teth gives the comedy. That's great.
Yeah. I just you just Trent just laid out a perfect question earlier.
If you could wish,
Yeah.
you
One
can.
spell.
That's the spell.
Which is
wish.
and I had to step back from it too, because it was like I knew the context of what Trent was getting at. Like I knew that he was talking about, hey, what spell do I have that I could provide for you guys to help you? But just the question was just like, oh, this is perfect.
That's awesome. All right, one last one, and then we're gonna call it a night. We are now. This is on the same timeline. This is day 4. Yeah. We're gonna end with Sakai tonight. This is at the same time. So this is during your downtime. I promise, not in the past or the future. I'm not fucking with your heads timeline wise. This is in Cassis, several hours travel away from where you all are, in the church to Cassis, in the vestry quarters. We'll say down below the main floor, the main worship areas. There are some prep areas and the priests' quarters if they have to stay in the church and whatnot. And you see, Zakai, you are obviously very familiar with all of the parts of this building. You've been in these quarters many times. There's a common room where you all have specific desks that you can do your own work. You're sitting at your desk. And out of his own office, you see walking out just a larger than life figure that you have known for many, many years of your life. The exemplar Evaristus III. And he walks out, and he is a very large man, not necessarily heavy or thin. He's just very broad, probably at least 6'3", 6'4", made even more prominent by large shoes that he's wearing under his giant garish purple robes, and a rather tall hat. So he's a looming creature, to be sure. And he will walk out of his office. He seems frustrated. He seems preoccupied. His mind is elsewhere, and you don't see him like this very often. And he'll, without looking at you, without making eye contact, he'll just kind of walk out into the room and have his hands on his hips and say, "Zakai, tell me something. The church, we do various good deeds throughout the city, throughout the continent. Yes,
of course, as much as we can.
Of course, yes, of course, as much as we can. The Church of Cassis is a meager flock compared to those of other deities. A god of death really just makes people turn away for the natures and the musics and the lights of the world. Now these people, you saw this broadcast up in the sky. These people, these do-wrongers, according to the caster leadership, of course. Trust them with as far as I can, and as far as I can toss them, of course. They're saying that these troubadours are gallivanting across the country and ransacking as they go. They're dangerous. They're warriors, just escaping from these games. They're within the matter of 2 days, 3 days, I don't know. They've become 10 times as popular as we are. We've been established for 25 years. Zakai, tell me something. How do we tap into what they have, Zakai? How do we have what these people have? I want to have what they have. Right, ideas, go. Spitball for me.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't note the distinction between being famous and being infamous.
Of course. Two adjectives cut from the same cloth. I want to get to the root of the problem, Zakai.
Cause an uproar, cause a stir. We could easily do that. We have all the means, the abilities. We could go out and ravage and tear. I guess bad news makes headlines more than good news, right?
Yes. Well,
But
how do we capitalize on bad news without injuring or killing or maiming anyone that's innocent? Really don't want to do that. Yes.
I guess if there's a cordon call for these people, you become just as renowned if you're the ones to capture them.
Oh yes, what a brilliant you, best archdeacon I've had in the last 7 years. I'm sure I won't take that back later. I think that is fantastic idea. Wonderful. So where are they? How do we get them?
Well, what do we know about them? Do we have any
I know that they're
descriptions, or
famous or infamous, as you say.
I've been practicing a couple spells that could really help in this situation, but I would
Demonstrate.
need to know. I would need to know
Show me.
something about them.
Well, one of them is a dragon.
A dragon. Okay. Do we know the
I saw
color?
that on the broadcast. Yes, a dragon of sorts. One of the great ones. Yeah,
A dragon.
I think one of them's very large.
Okay, a dragon, a large being.
What does that get you? Do we have any spells for a large dragon being?
Well, of course. 2 seconds.
Perfect. Prepare that spell. Prepare it.
Start rummaging through my pack, pulling out tons of I have 1,000 different spell components, and eventually I'll find a very tiny, almost like a pocket mirror that kind of flips open. And
wonderful. A compact.
let's see what I can muster here. So we're gonna be looking for a large dragon, and I will attempt to cast the scry spell.
Okay. Perfect. And he's gonna sit down like on the other side of your desk. Imagine it like an elementary school desk where it's very singular. It opens to you have all of your things inside, but sized up for an adult. And he will pull up a chair and sit on the other side of that desk, so he has no it can open up this way, and he'll sit down and he'll just kind of wait like this and look at you as you're casting scrying. How long does this normally take?
Couple minutes. Give me. Just gotta draw the runes.
Right. Yes, I would really like a solution now. Still waiting, huh?
Oh, it's coming in.
Oh, Oh, okay. Wow.
Something's happening.
Mm.
Mirrors showing.
Give me large man that is gray dragon. Gray dragon.
I guess if I'm casting it on the Dragon Man, you have to make a Wisdom saving throw, but you gain a +5 to your save because I have no idea who you are.
Is it actually
So
actually targeting me or?
absolutely not.
Yeah. You can roll a DM. Who do I see?
Let's
Does
see.
it end up being the one that Vern got a hold of? Yep.
We're gonna see. I'm gonna roll a percentile die.
That's what else happened to Tower that I forgot. Vern built the statue and bothered the other bronze dragon guy.
All right.
Did
Ooh,
you
a
mention
90%.
Vern like going unconscious for like 2 weeks or whatever?
Very not really.
That was the one big beat we missed.
Is a +5 to the saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second
This is
hand. I have heard of the target.
This is 1d20 plus 20. Oh my god. That's wild. That's wild.
You fucking did it. You did it. Good job, Carlos.
Yeah, so it's very, very cloudy. Incredibly cloudy. But what you can make out is a giant green flying dragon creature. You go down for you, Bill. And you can see both of you are sitting in shock as you see this huge, just massive. It's flying over cities, and compared to the buildings that you're seeing it fly over, it's dwarfing these huge established buildings that you see that you are familiar with, because you both have traveled across the country to here or there. And as you're watching it, it becomes very clear to you both that it is aware that you're watching it. It knows that you're looking at it. So you'll see it perch on the top of a big building, and it's gonna look right up to your sensor, wherever your vantage point is. It's gonna look into your scrying portal, and you'll hear again, very foggy, very muffled. But this giant green dragon will say, "I can see both of you. Stop looking. I know who you are." And then the image will vanish.
Well, it's a work in progress. I said I'm still practicing. We'll get it next time. But
Everestus is white. He's just looking like this at where the dragon was. He said, why did you cast that spell? Sakai, why was that the spell? Why was that the spell that you decided to? Is the dragon coming for me? Is the dragon? Oh God!
No.
Oh God!
No.
No.
It's not a two-way thing.
I mean, well, it seemed like a two-way thing, Zakai. It seemed like a two-way thing. They spoke to us.
Well, that it's a new magic. We'll iron out the kinks. So.
It's probably just a bird flying by.
Yeah,
what are the chances? You always know how to make me feel better. Anyway, off to brainstorm by myself. You were very little help. Worst archbishop I've had in 7 years. Goodbye. And he'll get up and just walk back into his office.
I'm can I see into his office? Does it have windows?
No windows, but you can. Your desk is kind of positioned that you can see into his doorway. Yeah.
Okay. Is he talking or what's he doing?
He's mumbling to himself. You can tell that he's shaken for sure. But he really does not want to let go of, building his following. And you've known for a while that you want to be on his good side. He has been, the leader of this church for quite some time, longer than you have been alive. He is a person that you highly respect. Now that you are an archbishop, however, you realize the inside baseball of the situation is that he sometimes doesn't know what he's talking about, whether that's the senile nature of older age, or if he's always been like that, you're not sure. He is, like the fallen hero syndrome, where you look up to somebody until you really meet them and get to know them, and they're a shithead. It's kind of like that. But you have to keep your mouth shut if you want to keep your post.
Yeah. And I guess I'm going to just pull out my journal that I constantly keep, and I'm just going to scribble my notes of this encounter and everything that I can remember that was said and what was going on and things that he wanted and his attitude, and just make sure I have it all documented so I can know how to use it later if I need to.
Perfect. Great scene. Great job making an enemy out of Viscera.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Viscera never became an issue. Guess what? I think it is now.
There's no way that they find me.
Man, that couldn't have worked out better. That was the best roll I could have made in that moment.
I wasn't even thinking of Viscera. I was thinking of the bronze dragon that Vern talked to. I can't remember.
Oh, I was gonna do 51% and up Viscera and 50% and down Ollie.
Oh, Ollie. Yeah, Ollie too. I'm in a sword.
All I got was Big Dragon, man. It's hard to pin it down.
Awesome, guys. It was a little bit slow moving at the beginning, but thank you for a cool session. It was really fun seeing what you guys all came up with.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Hey. Well, Jesus.
Wait, did someone add the Roblox sound in here yet?
Nobody's added anything, I think. Maybe.
I haven't added anything, no. Awesome, guys. Cool session. I'm sure I'll be texting you at some point this week.
Yeah.
About how things went. If not, later tonight. Who knows?
All right.
Thanks for having me back, y'all.
Yeah, of course.
We'll see.
One more week, and you're gonna beat your streak from last time.
Oh, yeah.
Do we want to decide right now what we're doing in November? So whoever the DM is can start planning it. November 4th, I believe, is the day that we picked. Do we want to do Lost Mines with Michael DMing or All Stars game with Aaron DMing?
Let me put that down. Oh, dude, I thought I was on the wrong month. It was like, it's on a Wednesday? What the fuck?
I feel like everybody wanted you to Lost Mines, but except for the DM.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Let's
Lost Mines then?
I'm
Yeah.
down for Lost Mines.
Cool.
I don't think we can wrap it up in a day. It might be
No.
2 sessions, 3 sessions, maybe.
Yeah, just
like
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Was the idea? The idea was like what, noon to 8, or with the hour break for like we did
Food.
last time.
Yeah.
That's what we did last time. I think that worked pretty well.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we playing in person? My game's never been in person.
Oh, if it's in person, we're gonna have a fucking. I'm gonna have some stuff to reconsider.
I mean, we can play
I feel
online.
like-
Is it in person? Am I crazy? Did we talk about that?
The last, I think Aaron wanted his to be in person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's always DM'd in person.
Yeah.
But I'm good for either. I don't really care, but I'm local, so I'll leave that up to you guys. I'm good either way.
For me, it's less driving to Toledo because it's not that long, but I'm just coming back from Texas on Friday.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably be fucking wrecked.
I mean, I also feel like it's, especially if we do Lost Mines in person, we would probably do it like I was doing Relics, where we just have like Roll20 up on the TV.
Yeah.
Right.
So if somebody else wanted to be remote and play with us, I don't
Yeah.
feel like that's
true.
too out of the question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
Aaron has all the mics and shit set up to record anyway, so
I might
do
be able
Lost
to
Mines,
try.
but do that at Aaron's house.
If my work, maybe I can book my work
See
trip
if he
a day
says
shorter.
he's okay with that.
I'll see if we do it in person. I'll see if I can swing a day the other direction for work,
If not,
so I'm
no
not
big deal.
dying. Yeah. Well, I'd rather be in person, personally, but
Is Trent able to join for a Lost Mines thing?
Can you plug me in anywhere?
Oh yes, I sure can.
Excellent.
They're in a room right now that has a bunch of specimens and tubes that came from different dimensions, and
bunch of bodies.
we just add one more.
Okay.
Marlis has played all birds.
Two birds and Grim, who was a chicken.
Yep.
I want to be Mewtwo from Pokemon the first movie. That's my character build.
You could do that. Just go full telekinesis.
Yeah, I'm thinking Gith Yankee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gith Yankee.
Like a psionic sorcerer.
Psionic sorcerer.
Does he talk in that movie?
He does.
Sure does.
I thought maybe that was one where like he just doesn't.
Well, he never
he's
talks
the only
out
Pokemon
loud.
that can talk.
He speaks
No, it's in
directly
his
into
head.
your mind.
So I can work on my ventriloquism, so you won't see my lips move when I talk.
Yeah. Cool, guys.
All right. Yeah.
Great session.
It's great
Thanks
being back.
for a little bit. I appreciate the extra time.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.